Chapter 246. Ning Cheng really wanted to know what was the use of the mirage stones in the end. Hearing till here, he also pretended to sigh and spoke. So many people are looking for mirage stones, but in the end only a few of them were able to find them. This thing really does not live up to its name. Mu Xuanlin spoke in a stern tone. Elder brother Ning cannot think of it that way. Although there are only a few people who are able to find mirage stones, but mirage stones are not unworthy of their name, rather they are a genuine treasure. Otherwise it would be impossible for so many major academies in the Tian continent to be searching for mirage stones. Even if it was a rogue cultivator, as long as they could get their hands on a mirage stone, then they would have a meteoric rise. No matter how poor his aptitude is, he can still join a large sect and obtain the status of an inner disciple. Ning Cheng had been in contact with too many 8-star and 9-star academies' disciples, so when he heard Mu Xuanlin say that he was an inner sect disciple of a major academy, he did not care much about it. He really wanted to know what other uses the mirage stones had, but it was not convenient for him to directly ask about it. Just as Ning Cheng was hesitating, Mu Xuanlin once again spoke up. Elder brother Ning, this is my academy head token, although the Formless Academy is only a 4-star academy. But as long as Brother Ning helps me this time, when I return to the Tian continent in the future, I will definitely repay Brother Ning 100-fold. Moreover, this time I am borrowing Brother Ning's magical weapon, is only for the sake of getting some monstrous beast materials and spiritual grasses after arriving at the next island. I will soon return the magic weapon to Brother Ning. Elder brother Mu, is there anything special about the Mirage Ship Island? I am a rogue cultivator, although I came together with everyone to look for mirage stones. Actually, there are many things that I really don't understand. Ning Cheng did not accept Mu Xuanlin's academy head token. He believed that Mu Xuanlin was not deceiving him. He had already planned to lend a magical weapon to Mu Xuanlin. Since he had just arrived on this ship, it was not a bad idea to make a good friend. Besides, when he arrived at the Heaven continent, it would of course be better if he knew someone. Mu Xuanlin did not care about Ning Cheng's words. If he had only spoken a few words, then the other party would immediately lend him a magical weapon, then he would have felt that it was inconceivable. The Mirage Ship Island is actually a moving island. This island is hidden from view from time to time. Once someone discovered that the Mirage Ship Island had appeared, then they would have the opportunity to enter the island to search for mirage stones. This island would only appear for the time it takes for an incense stick to burn. After this incense stick's time, the island would immediately fade away and it would reappear after a period of time. If you do not come out of the Mirage Ship Island before the Mirage Ship Island fades, then you will never be able to come out again. Mu Xuanlin gave a very detailed explanation to Ning Cheng's question, and was afraid that Ning Cheng would not understand, so he also added a sentence. After the Mirage Ship Island appears in a certain place, as long as someone goes in, then the next time they appear, they will not appear in the same place, but will only appear in a place that is very far away. Ning Cheng asked in surprise, does this island have a spiritual nature? If we enter the Mirage Ship Island and do not have enough time to come out, then would we be able to come out of the Mirage Ship Island safely the next time we come out? Mu Xuanlin shook his head, that's absolutely impossible. As long as you enter the Mirage Ship Island, if you do not come out before the Mirage Ship Island disappears, then you will forever disappear. What a strange island. Coming to this place, one really had to accept all sorts of strange things. It seems that if he wanted to enter the Mirage Ship Island, then he would have to be ahead of the others. Otherwise, once someone else entered, this barbarian ship island would immediately disappear, and he would no longer have a chance. Just when Mu Xuanlin wanted to continue reminding Ning Cheng about the magical weapon, a burst of noise suddenly arrived from the outside. Even if the spiritual tea room was isolated by a restriction, it could still be heard. Ning Cheng could vaguely hear the sounds of the Mirage Ship Island appearing from the outside, but before he could speak, Mu Xuanlin suddenly stood up, with an incomparably excited and pleasantly surprised expression on his face. The Mirage Ship Island has appeared, it really has appeared. I have been waiting for 20 years, after 20 years, I have finally found the Mirage Ship Island. Mu Xuanlin simply did not care about borrowing the magical weapon from Ning Cheng, and had already rushed to the door. But just as he was about to go out, he seemed to have remembered that he still needed to borrow the magical weapon, as he quickly turned around and cupped his fists towards Ning Cheng and anxiously spoke, "Elder brother Ning, there are many monstrous beasts on the Mirage Ship Island, moreover there are also cultivators who are fighting with each other. I do not have any magical weapon, so I would like to ask Elder brother Ning to lend me one. I will definitely help Elder brother Ning 1 or 2 times on the Mirage Ship Island." Ning Cheng's mind was also on the Mirage Ship Island, as he took out a knife-shaped medium-grade spiritual artifact without hesitation and handed it to Mu Xuanlin and spoke, "Elder brother Mu can take it and use it. I wish Elder brother Mu good luck. I do not need the Academy Head Jade card. In the future when we arrive at the Tian continent, Elder brother Mu must remember to invite me to drink a cup of good tea." "Good, good, many thanks Elder brother Ning. I will definitely not let Elder brother Ning down." Mu Xuanlin finished speaking and immediately rushed out in a few steps. It was obvious that he wanted to seize the time to refine the magical weapon in his hands. Ning Cheng came out of the spiritual tea house, and found that there were thousands of cultivators crowding towards the deck. Ning Cheng also followed the many cultivators rushing towards the deck. The deck was already packed with cultivators. As he slightly swept out with his spiritual consciousness, he found that there were at least 10 to 20,000 people here. Even if the deck was incomparably huge, at this time there were not many gaps between these cultivators. At this time, as he swept out with his spiritual consciousness, absolutely no one would say anything. The restrictions on the deck opened up. As a fishy and heavy sea breeze blew in, Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness could clearly see that the direction of the ship was heading towards was the place where he had just come from, which was the location of the Mirage Ship Island. It seems that the Mirage Ship Island had really been discovered. Ning Cheng calmed his heart down. If he was discovered, then he would be discovered. He could also enter the Mirage Ship Island to look for Mirage Stones. Most of the cultivators here were Profound Core and Profound Congealing cultivators. There were even many Essence Building cultivators. As for Soul Essence cultivators, Ning Cheng could only see a few of them. As Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness swept out, the shadow of the Mirage Ship Island in front of him started to fade, and finally slowly disappeared. At this time, an intermediate stage soul essence cultivator suddenly flew over the deck and spoke in a loud voice, "Friends of the mirage-gazing conglomerate, this time our mirage-gazing conglomerate did not disappoint you, and found the real Mirage Ship Island. I believe that all of you are just as excited as me to be able to bring you to the real Mirage Ship Island, to look for Mirage Stones. It is also the honor of our mirage-gazing conglomerate. Everyone please do not be impatient. Wait for me to issue the order, then we will rush into the Mirage Ship Island together. No one is allowed to leave the ship without an order, otherwise we will be killed without mercy. The next time the Mirage Ship Island appears, we will not go in, but rather continue to observe, and wait for the next time it appears, then we will prepare to go in. The mirage-gazing conglomerate truly lives up to its name. Next time I will take the mirage-gazing conglomerate's ship. Many thanks to the mirage-gazing conglomerate." A variety of voices of support could be heard. The intermediate stage soul essence cultivator waved his hand, and continued to speak. "Everyone is here to look for Mirage Stones. As such, the time to enter the Mirage Ship Island is at most the time it takes for an incense stick to burn. If you do not come out within the time limit, then you will fall on the Mirage Ship Island." In fact, according to the records of the ship that discovered the Mirage Ship Island, every time a person enters, only less than 30% of them would be able to come out. So I hope that everyone who enters the Mirage Ship Island will not argue, but rather rely on their own luck. As this intermediate stage soul essence cultivator finished speaking, the discussions of the people really quieted down. The order was also a lot better, as everyone's gazes or spiritual consciousness were all concentrated in one place, and that was the location where the Mirage Ship Island appeared. Although the discussions had quieted down, but some of the discussions about the Mirage Ship Island were still heard by Ning Cheng. This allowed Ning Cheng to gain a better understanding of the Mirage Ship Island. He even came to know that Mirage Stones were related to the Heaven's Way, as well as refining a kind of pill. This made Ning Cheng unable to understand. No matter how useful a Mirage Stone was, it was still a stone. Could a stone really be used to refine pills? I heard that the top-grade Mirage trees have 9 Mirage Stones on them, while the ordinary Mirage trees only have 1 or 2 Mirage Stones. This voice made Ningqing finally understand why mirage stones could be used to refine pills. He had always thought that mirage stones were a kind of material that could be found on the Mirage Ship Island, but he had never thought that it would be a stone that was produced from a tree. It's coming out, the Mirage Ship Island has appeared once again. Along with a scream, in front of everyone's eyes, a ship-shaped island once again appeared in front of their eyes. The mirage-gazing conglomerate also came to a stop, as some of the people saw the island, even the sound of their breathing became a bit louder. If not for the warning from the soul essence cultivator in front of them, then perhaps some of them would not have been able to resist the temptation and would have already rushed onto the island. Everyone can observe the Mirage Ship Island. The next time it appears, we will have to go in. There is only one chance, although mirage stones are a good thing, but it is only useful if you keep your life. If you lose your life, then even if you were given a lot of mirage stones, it would still be useless. The voice of the soul essence cultivator once again arrived. Many of the cultivators on hearing these words, had already become rational. That's right, no matter how good a mirage stone was, one would still need to be alive. Every time the Mirage Ship Island appeared, there would always be countless cultivators who would lose their lives. Would they be the next cultivator to die? When the Mirage Ship Island once again went into hiding, some of the cultivators who knew each other, were already exchanging words with each other in case something happened. An hour passed by unknowingly, when the Mirage Ship Island once again appeared with a vague outline. That soul essence cultivator suddenly spoke up. At this time, let's all go together. Let's not talk too much, everyone will have to rely on their own luck. While speaking, he was the first to rush out. The next moment the cultivators on the deck of the ship brought along countless lights as they rushed towards the Mirage Ship Island. Ningqing was also sandwiched in between the many cultivators, as he rushed in. Chapter 247. Just as Ningqing arrived at the edge of the Mirage Ship Island, he immediately felt a strong resistance, but this resistance did not seem to be too big, as he slightly revolved his true essence, and immediately rushed into the island. The formidable spiritual chi filled the surroundings of Ningqing, making Ningqing feel that the Mirage Ship Island was a good place for cultivation. In this kind of island domain where the spiritual chi was so rich, even if a good spiritual grass appeared, it would not be strange at all. A kind of dreamlike feeling welled up in his heart. Ningqing felt as if he was not standing on an island, but rather in a fairy tale world. It was somewhat unreal. Even his spiritual sense could only sweep a few meters around him, which was not even as far as his eyes could see. However, with his eyes, he could only see 10 meters around him. Any further and he could only see an illusory world. This illusory world seemed to be similar to the place that he had imagined in his mind. He would be in the Hua Continent's Emoze Grand Plaza, where he and Luofei would be standing together, ready to fight on the stage. After a while, he and Tian Muwan stood together, whispering to each other. Ningqing's mind was extremely clear, moreover this illusion did not cause him to lose his mind. Ningqing immediately understood that this was the result of his spiritual consciousness and vision being suppressed. Divine sense was suppressed here. Ningqing immediately forced himself to circulate his spiritual consciousness and swept out once again. This time, his spiritual consciousness broke through the resistance just like a moment ago, directly reaching the range of a kilometer. Now that his spiritual sense had reached this point, there was no way for him to extend it further. At this time, almost all the cultivators had already rushed onto the Mirage Ship Island, as Ningqing's spiritual consciousness swept towards a three-colored tree. That's right, it was indeed a colorful tree. Ningqing was sure that since he was born, this was the first time he had seen a colorful tree. There were 3 milky white fruits on this colorful tree. Was this the mirage tree? Was that white fruit a mirage stone? Ningqing was just about to rush over and pick up the few milky white fruits, when he used his spiritual consciousness to see a few cultivators approaching the colorful mirage tree. In desperation, Ningqing wanted to change a place to continue his search. Since so many people had come to the Mirage Ship Island, then it was absolutely impossible for the Mirage Ship Island to only have a single mirage tree. But Ning Qing soon stopped his footsteps. He saw that the few cultivators were already more than 10 meters away from the mirage tree, and did not pick up the mirage stones that he thought were there. Was this not a mirage tree? What he saw wasn't a mirage stone. If so, why didn't others pluck it? Ning Qing scratched his head. He found that he simply did not know what a mirage stone looked like. Just when Ning Qing wanted to find someone to ask, he saw two more cultivators approaching the tricolored tree that he had seen earlier. The two cultivators were only 5 or 6 meters away from the colorful tree. They immediately rushed over and picked the 3 milky white fruits as fast as they could. Ning Qing suddenly came to understand. He had not guessed wrong. This colorful tree was the mirage tree and mirage stone. Because his spiritual consciousness was tempered in the chaotic star space, although his spiritual consciousness could break through this dreamlike space of a kilometer, it did not mean that others could do the same. Not to mention that the majority of the people here were golden core cultivators. Even if it was the spiritual consciousness of a soul essence cultivator, it would not necessarily be as condensed as his tempered spiritual consciousness. Even on the Mirage Ship Island, it was still able to pass through such a powerful distance. Ning Cheng's heart immediately calmed down, as he once again swept out with his spiritual consciousness. This time, he once again swept out with his spiritual consciousness and found a 3-colored mirage tree. However, this mirage tree was still being fought over by several people. Some of them even brought out their magical weapons and began to fight desperately for it. Ning Qing did not have any thoughts of going there. It was not that he was afraid that he would not be able to beat the others. There was more than one mirage tree in this place. Rather than having the time to snatch it, it would be better to search for it. Since there were too many people here, he decided to go to the depths of this place. Although this Mirage Ship Island was not small, but the number of cultivators that came up was just too many. Moreover, his time was also limited. He only had the time it took for an incense stick to burn. He had to make full use of this time, and obtain more mirage stones. Sharpening an axe would not delay the work of chopping firewood. This place was the periphery of the Mirage Ship Island. There would definitely be a lot of cultivators here. If he did not have the twin heavenly cloud wings, then he could only try his luck in the periphery. Now that he had the twin heavenly cloud wings, why not go to the depths of the Mirage Ship Island to look for mirage stones? Thinking of this, Ning Qing stimulated the twin heavenly cloud wings and instantly flew away. This Mirage Ship Island had only appeared for the time it took for an incense stick to burn. As such, Ning Qing did not dare to use too much time. Fortunately, his twin heavenly cloud wings were fast enough here. Vigorously stimulating the twin heavenly cloud wings, in just a dozen breaths, Ning Qing had already rushed into the depths of the Mirage Ship Island. Determining that there would not be any other cultivators coming here for a short period of time, Ning Qing fully stretched out his spiritual consciousness. His spiritual consciousness immediately swept towards a 5-colored mirage tree. Moreover, this 5-colored mirage tree had 5 mirage stones on it. The mirage stones on the tree were also white in color, but they were a bit purer than the 3-colored mirage tree. Ning Qing had already determined that the mirage trees on the Mirage Ship Island were colored. The more colors there were, the more mirage stones there were. Moreover, the color of the mirage stones were also whiter. Ning Qing with his fastest speed rushed to the side of the mirage tree, and grabbed one of the mirage stones. A kind of mysterious feeling welled up in his heart. It made Ning Qing feel that if he were to hold this mirage stone and cultivate at this time, he would immediately advance. This was an illusion. It was definitely an illusion. Ning Cheng's sea of consciousness cleared up, and with a wave of his hand, the mirage stone immediately fell into his hands. Mirage stones were incomparably hard. It really was different from ordinary fruits. No wonder it was called mirage stones. Putting the mirage stone into a jade box, Ning Qing quickly put away the other 4 mirage stones. Now that he had come into contact with the mirage stones, although Ning Qing did not know the specific uses of the mirage stones, but he was sure that it was definitely a good thing. After collecting the 5 mirage stones, Ning Qing changed to another place, and once again stretched out his spiritual consciousness. He soon found another mirage tree. This time it was a mirage tree with 9 different colors. This mirage tree had 9 mirage stones on it, As Ning Qing came to the side of this mirage tree, he could even smell a kind of fragrance that made people float up into the clouds. The 9 fruits on this tree were white to the point that they were transparent, just like the purest of crystals. No, they were far more transparent than crystals. This was not a white color, but rather a transparent color. There was a kind of spiritual charm flowing within it. It was as if this transparent mirage stone contained something that people longed for. It was something that they simply could not express in words. Ning Cheng's time was limited, as such without even half a moment of hesitation, he quickly picked up the mirage stone, and put it into the jade box. After picking up all the 9 mirage stones, Ning Cheng wanted to change to another place to continue looking for the mirage tree. He suddenly thought of something. Could this mirage tree also be planted in his miniature world? Just thinking of it, Ning Cheng revolved his true essence, wanting to pull up this mirage tree. Even if Ning Cheng's true essence was incomparably powerful, it was simply not enough to shake this mirage tree even half a step. It grew to be very hard. Ning Cheng did not believe in such things, as he immediately brought out his true cosmic devil axe. Bang! The true cosmic devil axe's incomparably powerful and tyrannical axe intent slammed into the soil under the mirage tree, but the soil was only left with a trace, not to mention digging up the mirage tree. Even digging up a piece of soil was not easy. So hard. Ning Cheng gave a dark sigh. No wonder no one was willing to cut down the mirage tree. With this kind of hardness, who would be able to dig up a mirage tree? Moreover, there was only the time it took for an incense stick to burn. Perhaps the person who dug up the mirage tree would not even be able to dig up a piece of soil, when the time limit would already be up. Even if that is the case, I still have to give it a try. Ning Cheng directly brought out the true Brahma sword. Although he had completely refined the true Brahma sword, but he did not intend to drive it himself. He had not cultivated a Buddhist cultivation method, as such he would not be able to drive the true Brahma sword in its most powerful state, but he could use the power of hope to drive it. Pouring the power of hope into the true Brahma sword, the true Brahma sword vaguely showed 4 golden arhats. The 4 arhats used all of their strength to control the big sword to stab into the soil under the mirage tree. This time it was a lot simpler. The mirage tree was quickly hollowed out by Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng once again revolved his true essence, and the 9-colored mirage tree was directly sent into his miniature world. This power of hope was a good thing, but unfortunately, the power of hope within the Imperial Jade Seal was limited. As long as he finished using it, not to mention the true Brahma sword, even the true Brahma Buddha fire will would not be able to be used. Ning Cheng gave out a sigh, as his spiritual consciousness fell into his miniature world. He was very proud of himself. After all, the mirage tree that others could not dig up, but he actually managed to get his hands on one. Although it took him a bit of time, but it was still a mirage tree. But when Ning Cheng saw the appearance of the mirage tree in his miniature world, his face immediately turned bitter. The mirage tree that he had just sent into his miniature world immediately began to wither. Even at a speed visible to the naked eye, it turned into a dead tree. Idiot! Ning Cheng patted his head. If the mirage tree was so easy to transplant, then other people would have already started it. How could they wait for him? Moreover, he wasted so much time, and even wasted the power of hope to dig up the mirage tree. If he was not an idiot, then what was he? He hurriedly went looking for mirage stones. Ning Cheng knew that he did not have much time left, and no longer cared about the mirage tree in his ring. He once again teleported away, as he crazily looked for new mirage stones. Time passed by very quickly at this time. When Ning Cheng picked up the 39 mirage stones, he knew that he had to leave this place. The surroundings were already somewhat blurry. It was obvious that the mirage ship island would soon disappear. Although Ning Cheng was also very greedy, but even if he was greedy, he was already satisfied with the many mirage stones he had obtained. He stimulated the twin heavenly cloud wings, and began to rush out. Ning Cheng had not yet completely left the mirage ship island, when his spiritual consciousness swept towards Mu Xuanlin. Mu Xuanlin was lying on the ground, his whole body was covered in blood, and was twitching incessantly. In any case, Mu Xuanlin was also a person he knew. As such, Ning Cheng quickly rushed over, and was ready to take Mu Xuanlin away. Mu Xuanlin's lifeless eyes were wide open, but when he saw Ning Cheng, his lifeless eyes immediately flashed with a hint of surprise. Immediately he put a command token into Ning Cheng's hands and spoke, "Elder brother Ning, thank you, I can't do it, please help me bring this to my son Mu Nan, you have to quickly leave, the Mirage Ship Island is about to disappear." Mu Xuanlin finished these words, and directly fell down, without even the slightest bit of sound. Ning Cheng knew that Mu Xuanlin had already fallen, he was just about to put away Mu Xuanlin's body, when he saw Mu Xuanlin instantly turn into nothingness. It was as if what he had just seen was an illusion. Ning Cheng touched the Academy head token in his hands, he knew that what he had seen was not an illusion, but rather a real scene, but this scene was simply too terrifying. The surrounding area was filled with a feeling of nothingness. Ning Cheng did not dare to delay any longer, as he desperately stimulated the twin heavenly cloud wings to rush out. Chapter 248. Ning Cheng had just seen the endless Yi Xing Ocean's surface, when a feeling of emptiness came from behind him. This kind of emptiness gave him a kind of intuition that he simply could not describe, that is, once he fell into it, he would never be able to get out. Ning Cheng quickly rushed out, while simultaneously putting away the twin heavenly cloud wings. At this point of time, all the people were trying to escape from the Mirage Ship Island, causing the entire sea to turn chaotic. Ning Cheng silently flew towards the ship. When he felt the emptiness, his spiritual consciousness saw several cultivators who had emerged from the edge of the island, directly dimming down. Then these cultivators along with the hollow depression disappeared without a trace, just like the disappearance of the Mirage Ship Island. It was obvious that these cultivators who disappeared would never be able to come out, rather they had all fallen on the Mirage Ship Island. It was certain that if he did not have the twin heavenly cloud wings, then he would also have become one of the countless fallen cultivators. Perhaps those cultivators who disappeared would have come out a little earlier, and would not have been swallowed up by the Mirage Ship Island, but how many people could really think of this point? When Ning Cheng returned to the ship, there were already many cultivators who had come up. There were also many cultivators who were flying towards the ship, but the number was much less than the time it took for an incense stick to burn. Even the deck was empty. Ning Cheng used his spiritual consciousness to sweep out a bit, and found that there were originally more than 20,000 people on the deck, but now there were only about 6,000 to 7,000 people. There were even more people who had not had the time to come out of the Mirage Ship Island. Most of the cultivators who returned to the ship were expressionless, only a few cultivators had a happy look on their faces. Ning Cheng also stood on the corner of the deck with an expressionless face. He knew that among the cultivators who came back, there were at least a few hundred people who had obtained mirage stones, perhaps even more. The intermediate stage soul essence cultivator was already standing on the deck. Seeing that no one had returned, he once again flew up and spoke, "Friends, this time when we discovered the Mirage Ship Island, there were many people who obtained mirage stones, but there were even more friends who did not obtain mirage stones. There are also many friends who fell on the Mirage Ship Island. Most of our friends died in the mouths of the Mirage Beasts, while some of our friends did not have the time to come out. Yeah, I also met a sea serpent beast, and I almost couldn't make it back." Someone whispered in agreement. When Ning Cheng heard this, he was moved in his heart. He had dug up a mirage tree, and had even picked 39 mirage stones, but why did he not see a single mirage beast? Not to mention being eaten by the sea serpent. Was his luck better than others? Ladies and gentlemen, because the Mirage Ship Island has been found, our Mirage Gazing Conglomerate's trip to the Mirage Gazing Conglomerate has been very successful, and we are now preparing to return to the Mirage Gazing Island. Many of his friends might already be anxious to return home, and as soon as they return to the Mirage Gazing Island, they would immediately take the transmission array to return to the Tian continent. But the teleportation array to the Tian continent is a long way away, and it's not something that can be achieved with just a few spirit stones. As this soul essence cultivator spoke till here, he deliberately stopped, as he looked all around, before he continued, "Now what I want to tell everyone, is that our ship is also purchasing mirage stones. If a friend has mirage stones, then you can directly go to the ship's Mirage Exploring Merchant House, and sell the mirage stones in your hands. Even if it is a 3-colored Mirage Tree's Mirage Stone, we will still offer a sky-high price for it. Of course, If you are not willing to sell the mirage stones, then it is also your freedom, as such we will not interfere. At the same time, if anyone tries to snatch mirage stones from the ship, my mirage-gazing conglomerate will kill them without mercy." When Ning Qing heard this, he finally felt a bit relieved. He did not dare to say that he was the cultivator who had obtained the most mirage stones, but he was sure that there were very few people who had obtained more mirage stones than him. If this ship really wanted to snatch the mirage stones, then he could only escape. Since this ship could reach here, then he believed that he would also be able to find the mirage-gazing island. Ning Qing returned to his room in a low-key manner, and once again arranged 2 low-level concealment array formations in his room, before he began to adjust his breathing. He had already seen the mirage stones, and knew that they were a good thing. But now that he was on someone else's ship, even if he wanted to take out the mirage stones to have a look, he had to endure it. Who knew if there were any monitoring array formations here that he could not find? Once he returned to the mirage-gazing island, or once he arrived at the Tian continent, then he could look at them for as long as he wanted. This time on the mirage-gazing island, Ning Qing had deeply experienced the benefits of having a powerful and condensed spiritual consciousness. If he had not tempered his spiritual consciousness in the chaotic star space, then how could he have obtained so many mirage stones? Even if he had the twin heavenly cloud wings, he would at most be able to obtain 10 of them. Ning Qing was in his room, but he did not cultivate, rather he was specifically tempering his spiritual consciousness. Even if in this kind of environment, tempering one's spiritual consciousness was far inferior to the chaotic star space, but tempering one's spiritual consciousness was still better than not tempering one's spiritual consciousness. Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness did not leave his room, but was repeatedly casting it inside the small space. Suddenly his spiritual consciousness felt a slight fluctuation, causing Ning Cheng to be startled in his heart. This room was his, moreover he had also arranged a few array formations. Even if it was just a simple rank 3 array formation, it was enough to shield him from the possibility of others spying on him. But now that there were fluctuations coming from his room, it was obvious that it was an extremely concealing array formation. Ning Cheng stopped tempering his spiritual consciousness, as he carefully used his spiritual consciousness to look around the place where the fluctuations were coming from, and really found some clues. This turned out to be a monitoring array formation, moreover it was a monitoring array formation that even he was almost unable to discover. This kind of array formation, other than the people of the mirage-gazing conglomerate, who else could arrange it? He had thought that this ship was very upright, but he did not think that there would be something secretly monitoring it. If not for his attainments in array formations having already reached rank 6, and his spiritual consciousness being strong enough to be comparable to a soul essence cultivator, he really would not have been able to discover it. Fortunately, he was cautious and low-key. The array formations that he had arranged here were all low-level array formations, moreover he did not take out any secret things. In any place, being cautious was really not a bad thing. Knowing that he was being monitored by an array formation, Ning Cheng was not in the mood to stay in the room. However, since he had just returned from the Mirage Ship Island, it would be better for him to be a bit more low-key. Ning Cheng did not touch the monitoring array formation. 3 days later, Ning Cheng came out of his room. He intended to go to the makeshift market on the ship to have a look. Did you know? Tan Su was killed yesterday. Oh, it's just too terrifying. Fortunately we did not obtain any mirage stones. It has only been 3 days, yet a few people have already died. I reckon that these dead people were the ones who obtained the mirage stones. I did not manage to find any mirage stones this time, so I will definitely not come out to look for them in the future. This kind of thing is very difficult to predict whether it would be a blessing or a curse. Now I am looking forward to returning to the mirage-gazing island as soon as possible. Although I did not obtain any mirage stones, but this ship is simply too dangerous. If I want to return to the mirage-gazing island, it will take at least 3 months. Ning Cheng had just entered the makeshift market, when his spiritual consciousness caught a variety of discussions. Only then did he realize that a few people had been killed in the past 3 days. These cultivators did not perish on the Mirage Ship Island, but because they obtained the Mirage Stones, they ended up perishing on the ship. What was the use of this mirage stone? Why did it cause so many cultivators to go crazy over it? Previously, that intermediate stage soul essence cultivator had said that once he found someone trying to snatch the mirage stones on the ship, he would immediately kill them without mercy. Now that a few cultivators had died, why did he not come out and kill them without mercy? Thinking of the monitoring array formation in his room, Ning Qing gave a dark sigh. The words of these people really cannot be trusted. Fortunately, he finally knew that after 3 months, he would be able to return to the mirage-gazing island. Then he would be able to take the transmission array on the mirage-gazing island to head to the Tian continent. The makeshift market compared to a few days ago, was a lot more deserted. Ning Qing walked into a merchant house selling jade strips for cultivation methods. A huge jade strip erected in front of the merchant house attracted Ning Cheng's attention. The jade strip had the words 10 uses of mirage stones written on it. Did this mirage stone actually have so many uses? Ning Cheng's first reaction was to quickly purchase one of these mirage stone jade strips. Does this friend want to purchase a jade strip introducing the mirage stone? This jade strip is the best-selling one in my shop. It has a very detailed and clear introduction to the mirage stone. A shop assistant did not wait for Ning Cheng to open his mouth, as he took the initiative to introduce it to him. Ning Cheng was moved in his heart, as he immediately waved his hand and spoke, "Oh, if it was a few days ago, then I would have bought one, but now forget about it. Are there any jade strips with spiritual grasses that appear at the edge of the mirage-gazing island? I have nothing to do recently, so I might as well study it." "Yes, yes." The shop assistant quickly took out a jade strip and handed it to Ning Cheng. This jade strip introduces all the spiritual grasses that appear at the edge of the mirage-gazing island, moreover they also have some value. Even some of the valuable monstrous beast materials are introduced. 100 high-grade spirit stones. After Ning Cheng paid the spirit stones and left, a middle-aged man came out. As he glanced at Ning Cheng's back, before he shook his head and spoke, another fellow who did not obtain anything. Looking at this fellow's appearance, it seems that he is planning to stay in the mirage-gazing island for a long time. Even after walking far away, Ning Cheng was still secretly rejoicing. Fortunately, he reacted early, otherwise, he would have already purchased the 10 uses of mirage stones jade strip a moment ago. Generally, the people who bought this jade strip would not be able to find the Mirage Ship Island, but now that the Mirage Ship Island had been found, moreover it was already on its way back, if he went to purchase this jade strip, then wouldn't it be equivalent to telling others that he had obtained a mirage stone? At the very least, it would tell others that he might have a mirage stone. A staggering footstep rushed towards Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng quickly dodged to the side, and then he saw a youth with blood stains all over his back fall to the ground beside him. Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness fell on the body of this youth, and could feel that this youth's meridians were damaged, although it was not very serious, but it was necessary to take a pill in time, otherwise it would definitely leave behind a very serious sequela. If a cultivator's meridians were to leave behind a sequela, then how could they cultivate to a higher level? As long as the meridians were not completely destroyed, and were only slightly damaged, Ning Cheng had a lot of these pills. Not to mention that this youth only had the cultivation of profound congealing 8th level, as such it would be very simple to treat him. Ning Cheng raised his hand and took out a top-quality true internal organs pill and threw it into the youth's mouth. If he could help someone, then Ning Cheng would not mind helping out. Besides, a level 3 true internal organs pill for him was not a good thing at all. He could not understand how this youth was injured, at least he knew that fighting was not allowed on the ship. Ning Cheng's pills were all top-quality pills, moreover they were not refined using a pill art, as such the effect was much better than ordinary pills by many times. As the pill entered the mouth of the youth, it immediately turned into a gurgling medicinal liquid, as it quickly moisturized the injuries of the youth. In just a dozen breaths, the injuries of the youth had already improved, as the youth also struggled to get up from the ground. Chapter 249. Many thanks, Big Brother. The teenager cupped his fists towards Ning Cheng and thanked him. Not waiting for Ning Cheng to speak, he quickly walked into a merchant house not far away. When Ning Qing saw the name of this merchant house, he knew that he might have gotten himself into trouble. This merchant house was none other than the Mirage Exploring Merchant House that the Soul Essence Cultivator had previously spoken about. This youth's injuries had not yet fully healed, and yet he was in such a hurry to enter the merchant house. It was obvious that he wanted to sell the Mirage stones in his hands. Coupled with the wounds on this teenager's back, it was obvious that he had been sneak attacked because of the Mirage stone. The youth estimated that he would not be able to keep the Mirage stone, as such he quickly decided to sell the Mirage stone. Sneak attacking the youth from behind and failing to kill him meant that this person's cultivation was not much higher than the youth's. Furthermore, the fact that the other party was able to sneak up on the young man meant that he was also an acquaintance of the young man. If something were to happen to the young man, his acquaintances would naturally benefit. Now that he had interfered, trouble would definitely fall on him. Ning Qing shook his head, and did not take this trouble to heart. He already knew that although that Soul Essence Cultivator had said it beautifully, that fighting and assassinations were not allowed. But as long as it didn't happen in a crowded place, the ship wouldn't care. A cultivator with a similar cultivation level to this young man was not qualified to cause trouble for him. He had been here for many years, and the people had changed a lot, but some morals and habits could not be changed. When he saw someone in need of help, he would always extend his hand out of habit. "You're in trouble. Quickly find a place to hide and don't come out." A crisp sound transmission fell into Ning Cheng's ears. Ning Cheng looked around, but could not find who had sent him this sound transmission. Ning Cheng had initially thought that the person who sneak attacked the youth would at most have the same cultivation level as the youth, but now he suddenly felt that his thoughts seemed to be somewhat wrong. He quickened his pace and returned to his room. He decided to endure it for 3 months. Ning Cheng had only returned to his room for half a day when someone touched the restrictions covering his room. Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness fell outside the restriction and found a very dignified and beautiful woman. "May I ask, why are you looking for me?" Ning Qing knew that on this ship, the other party would absolutely not dare to start a fight in his room. Not to mention that this beautiful woman only had the cultivation of profound congealing 9th level, as such he did not care about her at all. The beautiful woman did not seem to be used to facing a male cultivator alone, causing her face to turn slightly red, as she spoke in a soft tone, "Because Yong Yi is my cousin, he was injured by someone. Many thanks for your help today, I came here specifically to thank you." "Oh, this is just a small matter, no need to be polite." Ning Qing waved his hand and spoke in a very casual manner. The beautiful woman, on seeing that Ning Qing did not invite her into the room, paused for a moment, and then took the initiative to speak up, "Because you have seen Yong Yi's injuries, and now that Yong Yi has recovered with your help, I would like to ask you what kind of injuries he suffered at that time. I am afraid that such a thing would happen again." Can I come in for a seat?" Ning Qing showed a faint smile. "Please come in." When this beautiful woman came in, Ning Qing once again activated the restrictions covering the room. Seeing Ning Qing seal the restriction once again, the beautiful woman just smiled and did not feel surprised. Instead, she took off her robe. The beautiful woman was wrapped in a coat, so she didn't feel anything. Now that she had taken off her outer clothes, her pure white neck was exposed, and her astonishing figure was immediately revealed. Curvaceous and incomparably graceful. "I heard that you boarded the ship midway. What kind of ship did you take before?" After the beautiful woman came to Ning Cheng's room, she looked around for a long time before she spoke. Ning Cheng stood up, suddenly raised his hand and made a few hand gestures, before he sat down and began to talk nonsense. The beautiful woman was attracted by Ning Cheng's nonsense, and even forgot the purpose of her coming here. It was not until the time it took for half an incense stick to burn had passed, that she finally realized what she had come here for. "What do you think of me?" The beautiful woman interrupted Ning Cheng's nonsense, as she spoke to Ning Cheng with a soft smile. Her tone no longer had the dignity from before. Ning Cheng nodded. "Not bad, very good." "Well, I also think that you are very heroic. I really want to thank you. Can you come over here?" The beautiful woman's tone was somewhat murmuring. As she spoke, she had already stood up, with a bit of desire in her eyes. What is your name? Ning Qing stood up. Chang Siki. Oh. Ning Qing gave an oh sound as he unexpectedly took off his coat and walked towards the beautiful woman. The beautiful woman was somewhat surprised. She did not think that things would be so simple. This cultivator's concentration was simply too poor. She had not even started, yet he had already taken the bait. It was not until Ning Qing raised his hand and completely pulled away her hair that she came to her senses and immediately began to scream. She was at profound congealing 9th level and had a higher cultivation compared to Ning Qing, yet she did not even move, and instead only knew how to scream. At this time Ning Qing actually sat down and waited for the beautiful woman to scream for a while before he spoke. Your screams are useless, your voice will not pass out, only my voice will be able to pass out. Saying that, Ning Qing picked up the coat that the beautiful woman had placed on the side, as his tones suddenly changed. Chi, the next time you do not have any spirit stones, come to me again. You can go back first, otherwise, some people will start to suspect. Bang! A loud explosion sounded, as the restrictions covering Ning Chang's room suddenly burst open, revealing a very strong-looking male cultivator standing at the door with a resentful look on his face. This strong-looking male cultivator already had the cultivation of profound core 7th level. When he saw Ning Qing gently put his coat on the beautiful woman's shoulder, he raised his trembling hand and pointed at the beautiful woman and spoke. You actually did it. You are courting death. You even dare to do something to my Dao companion. The strong-looking male cultivator did not wait for the beautiful woman to speak, as he once again pointed his finger at Ning Qing, while his entire body was overflowing with a murderous aura. At this time the entrance to Ning Cheng's room was already surrounded by many cultivators. All of them were staring at this scene with great interest. Ning Qing leisurely put on his coat, and spoke out in a loud voice. This is the mirage-gazing conglomerate's ship. Do you dare to start a fight in my room? Besides, me and Chi are both willing, moreover I have also paid the spirit stones. Are you blind? Can't you see that this spirit stone bag is something that I gave to you? Even if Ning Qing did not speak, many people had already seen the storage bag hanging on the waist of the beautiful woman. This beautiful woman had a ring, but now that she hung the storage bag on her waist, it was obvious that it was not her own. Senior apprentice brother, I. The beautiful woman was being stared at by so many people, causing her hands to tremble. Her clothes and hair were in a mess, even a fool would know what had happened. From the beginning to the end, I did not hear you call me that slut. The male cultivator was so angry that his tone was somewhat out of tune. He had only spoken half of what he wanted to say, but he knew that he could not say it out loud, and quickly shut his mouth. However, the onlookers already knew what had happened, and also knew that this male cultivator wanted his woman to seduce the cultivator in the room, but they did not expect that it would turn out to be true. Ning Qing frowned. He felt that something was not right with this matter. According to common sense, if he did such a thing, it would definitely disgust the other party, so why did he feel that something was not right? That beautiful woman seemed to have cooperated with him a bit too much. Deacon Rong, on the mirage-gazing conglomerate's ship, there is a cultivator trying to seduce my Dao companion. Can I ask how to deal with this matter? The male cultivator's anger suddenly disappeared, as if he had already recovered his calm. Instead, he cupped his fists towards a white-faced late-stage profound core cultivator next to him. This white-faced late-stage profound core cultivator gave an "n" sound, and spoke in a neither fast nor slow manner. My mirage-gazing conglomerate does not interfere in personal matters, but the mirage-gazing conglomerate has always been fair and just. Since this kind of scandal has happened, then we cannot just sit back and watch. Number 219, your passage fee is for a year's time. Your actions, it really is a disgrace to the face of our mirage-gazing conglomerate. We will refund you half of the passage fee. You can get off the ship. The white-faced deacon took out a storage bag and threw it to Ning Qing, as he spoke without any expression on his face. Ning Qing did not refute, as he placed the spirit stones in the storage bag into his ring, before he turned around and walked out of his room. Since the deacon of the ship was colluding with the other party, then it would be impossible for him to continue staying on the ship. The distance from here to the mirage-gazing island was not far, as such he might as well leave by himself. Moreover, Ning Cheng was also sure that once he stepped off the ship, that strong-looking cultivator would definitely come after him. However, he did not care about it at all. Good, I really appreciate people like you who are able to bring a woman to their room. I will sponsor you with a few spirit stones. I hope that you will not be swallowed by a monstrous beast. A storage bag fell into his hands. Ning Cheng at this time took note of this cultivator. It was a black-robed female cultivator, with an extremely ordinary appearance. Many thanks. Ning Cheng cupped his fists and thanked her. He knew that this voice was the same voice that had warned him in the makeshift market. Chapter 250. Although Ning Cheng was driven out of the ship, he did not immediately leave. He knew that this profound core cultivator would definitely come out to find trouble with him, as such he did not mind killing this profound core cultivator before walking away. At the same time, he also wanted to interrogate this profound core cultivator about the way to the mirage-gazing island. Taking out the storage bag given to him by the black-robed female cultivator, Ning Cheng did not understand why this black-robed female cultivator wanted to help him. He had never seen this female cultivator before. Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness swept into the storage bag and found that the storage bag contained 1,000 high-grade spirit stones. In addition to this, there were also 2 jade strips. Ning Cheng picked up one of the jade strips, which only had 3 words written on it: escape immediately. What does that mean? In just 2 breaths, Ning Cheng decided that no matter what the other party meant, he would have to leave first. He casually threw down a few concealment array flags, while simultaneously throwing down a monitoring array disc, as he stimulated the twin heavenly cloud wings and disappeared from his place. After escaping for 2,000 miles, Ning Cheng finally stopped. If he went any further, his surveillance formation would lose its effect. Even if he escaped, he still wanted to know who was preparing to leave the ship to attack him. Ning Cheng did not have to wait for a long time. When a vague shadow appeared on the crystal array disc in his hands, Ning Cheng knew that this was because he was too far away from the monitoring array disc. However, if only one person wanted to kill him, they were underestimating him too much. Ning Cheng was just thinking about whether he should go back or not, when the shadow suddenly looked up at him. At the same time, he raised his hand and punched the monitoring array disc left behind by Ning Cheng. The crystal array disc in Ning Cheng's hands immediately gave out a ka sound, and the image on it instantly disappeared without a trace. At this time, Ning Cheng no longer had the mood to go back and take a look, rather he desperately stimulated the twin heavenly cloud wings, and in an instant flew far away. He did not even have the mood to stop and take a look. The moment his monitoring array disc was destroyed, Ning Cheng immediately recognized the identity of the cultivator chasing after him. It was that intermediate stage soul essence cultivator. In his heart, he could not understand why that intermediate stage soul essence cultivator wanted to kill him. His things had not been exposed. Besides, if an intermediate stage soul essence cultivator wanted to kill him, a profound congealing cultivator, would he even need to use such means to drive him out of the ship? She could just casually kill him in his room. After a few hours, Ning Cheng finally stopped. He believed that even if the opposite party was an intermediate stage soul essence cultivator, they would not be able to catch up with him. Ning Cheng found a small reef island and landed on it. At least he hadn't encountered any high-level demonic beasts yet. On the reef island, Ning Cheng immediately took out another jade strip. He did not understand how the black-robed female cultivator knew that the soul essence cultivator wanted to kill him. Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness swept into the jade strip. Only then did he discover that this jade strip was a simple directional array disc, which clearly indicated the position of the mirage-gazing island. Seeing this jade strip, Ning Cheng finally felt relieved in his heart. No matter what this female cultivator's purpose was to help him, at least this jade strip was very useful to him. Ning Cheng then saw the message left behind by the female cultivator under the directional jade strip. If you want to know why I am helping you, then you can wait for me at the Tian Continent's Luoling City's precious river rest stop. You didn't disappoint me by helping Shinyongi. You are now being watched, so when you leave the mirage-gazing city's transmission array, you will need to change your appearance. Of course, If you don't want to believe me, then you can go to the Tian continent and not wait for me, just pretend that I never appeared. Ning Cheng was even more puzzled as he put away the jade strip. He did not believe that the female cultivator had saved him just because of his good intentions. For the black-robed female cultivator to help him, then she definitely had a purpose. But no matter what, Ning Cheng felt that the other party's words were not wrong, that is, he must change his appearance before he could go to the mirage-gazing city. Inside a luxurious room on the top floor of the mirage-gazing conglomerate, a man with an expressionless face was sitting on the seat of honor. This man was the intermediate stage soul essence cultivator that Ning Cheng had seen through the monitoring array formation not long ago. Although his face was calm, but his hands were gripping the armrests of the chair with blue veins popping out, it could be seen that he was incomparably angry in his heart. There were two other people in the room. One of them was the robust middle-aged cultivator who had broken the restriction placed on Ning Cheng's room, with the cultivation of Profound Core 7th level, and the other person was the deacon who had driven Ning Cheng off the ship. Lang Mao, did you say that you came up with this idea yourself? The intermediate stage soul essence cultivator stared at the robust male cultivator and asked in a deep voice. Yes, I knew that Shin Yongyi had obtained a mirage stone, so I wanted to get my hands on that mirage stone. This method was something that I suddenly thought of. As for that foreign cultivator who dealt with room 219, it was because he was a busybody. The male cultivator called Lang Mao quickly replied with a bow. That Chang Siki is Shin Yongyi's older cousin, why would she help you plot against her cousin? The soul essence cultivator continued to ask. Siki and I are in a relationship of love. She had previously asked her cousin to hand over the mirage stone, but her cousin was not willing. Since she plotted against Shin Yongyi, after obtaining the mirage stone, she would still give it to me. As Lang Mao spoke until here, his tone turned slightly agitated. Suddenly he knelt down on the ground, and spoke in an earnest voice. I request this sir to show me the monitoring image of Siki in room 219. I really, the soul essence cultivator gave a sneer, as he raised his hand and waved out a crystal image. Take a look at it yourself. In the crystal image, after Chang Siki took off her clothes, Ning Cheng stood up and walked towards Chang Siki, and then waved his hand a few times, causing the image to turn blurry. After that, he could not see anything, and could only hear a kind of ah sound. Lang Mao clenched his fists. He had already forgotten that there was a soul essence cultivator here, as he roared out in anger, bitch, no wonder she proposed this. It turns out that she already wanted to play with men. Oh, this proposal was put forward by Chang Siki on her own initiative? The soul essence cultivator asked in surprise. Lang Mao immediately reacted. This was the place of a soul essence cultivator. If he dared to act presumptuously, then he would immediately be blasted into flying ash. Yes, this proposal was put forward by her. I and Chang Siki also met on this ship, because my cultivation method has not reached perfection, as such I did not have the time to be together with her. But... Even after saying those two buts, Lang Mao did not know how to explain it. In his impression, Chang Siki was definitely not a casual person. Not only was she not casual, but she was also very dignified. But why was it like this? Well, you can go down. The soul essence cultivator waved his hand impatiently. Yes. Lang Mao did not dare to speak even half a word in front of this soul essence cultivator, as he quickly withdrew. You are a deacon of the mirage-gazing conglomerate. I do not mind you making some extra income, but without my permission, you drove away an important person. You will have to go and receive your punishment. After Lang Mao left, the soul essence cultivator coldly stared at the deacon and spoke. The deacon was already trembling with fear. When he heard the soul essence cultivator drive him away, he immediately bowed and withdrew. A puny profound congealing cultivator, unexpectedly was able to discover the monitoring array formation in the room, and was even able to shield it at any time. It really made me underestimate this person. A sudden voice resounded from behind the soul essence cultivator, as a woman wearing blue robes appeared. The soul essence cultivator sat still, and after a while he spoke in a deep voice. This person was able to escape from the range of my spiritual consciousness in such a short time. It can be seen that he has an extremely powerful flight-type magical weapon. There are also some cultivators on board, which we did not investigate. As for whether or not he was the one who dug out the mirage tree from the mirage ship island, I am still not sure. After all, with his cultivation here, even if he had a magical weapon with special powers, he would not be able to drive it. The blue-robed woman gave a snort. In any case, immediately send a message to the mirage-gazing island. In case this person arrived at the mirage-gazing island before us, then we will take him down first. If he really managed to get his hands on a mirage tree, then we must not let this person off. The soul essence cultivator's eyes also flashed with a fiery light. If this person can even get his hands on a mirage tree, then the mirage stones on his body would definitely be much more. The blue-robed woman waved her hand. Regardless of whether he managed to get his hands on a mirage tree or not, the mirage stones on his body would definitely not be less, I am sure of it. Originally, we were slowly investigating this matter, but it was ruined by a few ants. The soul essence cultivator suddenly raised his hand and brought out a crystal array formation screen. In the middle of the array formation screen, Chang Siki and Lang Mao clearly appeared. Chang Siki, did you really do it with that kid? Lang Mao's face showed a ferocious expression. Chang Siki sneered and spoke, so what if I did it? Lang Mao, who are you to me? You. Lang Mao's hands trembled in anger. Chang Siki's tone turned even colder. I have known you for a few years now. On this ship I need spirit stones everywhere. How many spirit stones did you give me? I went to sleep with him, but you gave me 10,000 spirit stones, and even a low-grade spiritual artifact. I was really blind to actually fancy such a miser like you. I don't even have enough spirit stones for my cultivation. Don't you know that I need a lot of spirit stones? Besides, the proposal from before was also put forward by you. I just mentioned it, and you actually really agreed to it. Fortunately, I am not related to you. If I was, then wouldn't I have to go out and sell myself in order to support you? Lang Mao, from now on we will have nothing to do with each other. The soul essence cultivator raised his hand and moved away the crystal array formation screen. As he spoke in a cold voice, this little profound congealing cultivator really does have some skills. In less than the time it takes for an incense stick to burn, he managed to seduce Chang Siki. The blue-robed woman frowned, but did not speak. At this time, Ning Qing once again brought out the true Brahma Buddha fire wheel. He could not figure out why this black-robed female cultivator wanted to help him, but he knew that he had to leave the mirage-gazing island as soon as possible. The speed of the true Brahma Buddha fire wheel was simply not something that an ordinary flight-type magical weapon could compare to. Even if some monstrous beasts discovered it, they would not be able to catch up. Even before the monstrous beasts could react, Ning Cheng's true Brahma Buddha fire wheel had already disappeared. Even if Ning Cheng repeatedly controlled the speed of the true Brahma Buddha fire wheel, in just less than half a day, Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness could already see many ships. Ning Cheng knew that he should have already reached the periphery of the mirage-gazing island. Chapter 251. In addition to these ships, there were also many flight-type magical weapons shuttling back and forth on the nearby sea surface. Ning Cheng put away the true Brahma Buddha fire wheel, and brought out a low-grade flight-type spiritual artifact, as he mixed in with the many other flight-type magical weapons and slowly flew towards the mirage-gazing island. Before seeing the mirage-gazing island, the largest island that Ning Cheng had ever seen was the Pubu Island. But now he was sure that the mirage-gazing island was several times larger than the Pubu Island, as his spiritual consciousness could not sweep out to the edge of the island. Ning Cheng had just approached the mirage-gazing island, when a spiritual consciousness swept past him. However, these spiritual consciousnesses did not linger for long, as they swept past him before disappearing. Ning Cheng guessed that these spiritual consciousnesses should have been swept by the other cultivators around him, and not because they wanted to inspect him. On the periphery of the mirage-gazing island, there were countless top-grade materials that were used to refine defensive array formations. Ning Cheng was a Tier 6 array formation master. As soon as he saw these array formations, he knew that these defensive array formations were definitely not any less than Tier 8, or even higher. Compared to the defensive array formations of the mirage-gazing island, the defensive array formations of the Pubu Island were equivalent to some simple railings. Ning Cheng's current appearance was similar to the appearance he had when he entered the Law's Way. He was a thin man, with a slightly younger age. After passing through the defensive array formations, Ning Cheng finally arrived in front of a huge ancient city. In front of the ancient city there were 3 words, Mirage-Gazing City. There were 2 profound congealing cultivators standing guard at the side of the city gate. When Ning Cheng entered the city, these 2 profound congealing cultivators did not even sweep Ning Cheng with their spiritual consciousness, not to mention asking Ning Cheng for the entrance fee. The city was incomparably bustling, with countless shops, pavilions, restaurants. The cultivators coming and going were incomparably dense. The streets were just like a spider web, spreading out in all directions. One simply did not know where the end of these streets led to, and also did not know what these cultivators were doing in a hurry. Ning Cheng found a relatively large merchant house and went inside. This merchant house not only sold magical weapons and pills, but also sold a variety of cultivation methods and jade strips. Ning Cheng easily found the 10 uses of the mirage-gazing island that he wanted to buy from the ship. But on the mirage-gazing island, Ning Cheng did not have even half a shred of scruples, as he unhesitatingly sold the 10 uses of the mirage-gazing stone, and also bought a few of the mirage-gazing island introduction. Do you have a map of the mirage-gazing city, as well as a map of the mirage-gazing island's edge? Ning Cheng suddenly remembered that he did not know where the transmission array was located. Of course. The shop assistant casually took out a jade strip and handed it to Ning Cheng. This is the map of the mirage-gazing city and the sea chart of the mirage-gazing island's edge. It will be 10 spirit stones. From the shop assistant's speed, it could be seen that he didn't know how many such jade slips he had sold. Seeing Ning Cheng walk out of the mirage-gazing city, the shop assistant spoke in a disdainful tone. Another one who wants to go look for the Mirage Ship Island. Even if he bought everything he needed, I don't know if he would be able to come back alive. This senior apprentice brother, do you want to look for the Mirage Ship Island? Come to our ship's reputation is first. Moreover, we are about to leave the mirage-gazing city. Ning Cheng had just left the merchant house, when an incomparably handsome-looking manservant chased after Ning Cheng, while constantly explaining how awesome their ship was, and how good it was. Moreover, as long as they boarded their ship, then they would definitely be able to find the Mirage Ship Island. Ning Cheng finally managed to get rid of this young servant, and immediately headed towards the Tian continent's transmission array. Even if he arrived at the mirage-gazing island in less than a day, he did not dare to be careless. Only when he reached the heaven continent would he be safe and sound. A soul essence cultivator, even if he knew that he had arrived at the Tian continent, he would not be able to do anything to him. 1,000,000 spirit stones. An old man did not even raise his head, as he casually spoke out. So expensive? Ning Cheng was stunned. 1,000,000 spirit stones. How many people would be able to come to the mirage-gazing island? Why were there so many cultivators on the mirage-gazing island, and why were there so many cultivators going out to the sea? If you want to sit then sit, if you don't want to sit then move aside. When the old man heard Ning Cheng say the word expensive, he immediately snapped at him in a somewhat unhappy tone, while his tone was extremely impatient. Ning Cheng reluctantly took out a storage bag and handed it over. I'll sit, these are the spirit stones. Fortunately, he still had some spirit stones on him, otherwise he would not be able to leave the mirage-gazing island. The old man grabbed the storage bag, as he swept it with his spiritual consciousness, and found that there were indeed 1,000,000 spirit stones inside, causing his complexion to ease up a bit, as he threw out a jade card and spoke. This is the transmission jade card, go in and stand in line. After Ning Cheng went in, he found that there were already 7 or 8 people waiting inside, causing him to be secretly speechless. Just how many spirit stones did this transmission array earn in a day? These cultivators who came to the Mirage Ship Island to look for opportunities, as such the little bit of spirit stones that they had saved up were all earned by these means of transportation. Big brother, you are also going back to the Tian continent? Ah, I'm also going back. A flirtatious voice sounded from Ning Cheng's side, while at the same time a burst of fragrance wafted over. Ning Qing turned around and saw a young man dressed in a luxurious robe. This man not only had a fragrant body, but his voice was also more feminine than a woman's. If not for his Adam's apple and his hair, Ning Qing would have thought that this was a woman. In the Yixing mainland, the hair of male cultivators and female cultivators had a clear difference. As for female cultivators, they would generally tie their hair into a bun. Seeing this man speaking, while also extending his orchid fingers, Ning Qing felt a burst of cold sweat, as he coughed and spoke. That's right, what a coincidence. That young man dressed in luxurious robes, on seeing Ning Cheng's reply, was even more happy as he moved closer to him. Ning Cheng was even more sure that this person must have greeted a lot of cultivators, as such the others probably did not pay any attention to him. At this time, Ning Cheng heard the cultivator in charge of the transmission array speak up. The next batch, 10 people. After Ning Cheng came in, another 2 cultivators arrived, adding up to a total of 10 people. Ning Cheng hurriedly rushed towards the transmission array. If he spoke a few more words to this sissy, then he would have goosebumps all over his body. With a flash of white light, Ning Cheng and the other 10 people instantly disappeared from the transmission array without a trace. Ning Cheng had only been teleported for less than an hour, when a very ordinary-looking middle-aged cultivator walked in. The old man in charge of collecting the spirit stones had his head drooped down, looking listless, but after this middle-aged cultivator came in, he immediately raised his head. Steward Peng, this is an arrest warrant. The cultivator on the warrant is someone that Deputy City Master Mi had personally named to capture. Take a look at his image. He might be able to disguise himself, but there is a shadow viewing mirror type artifact here. Any ordinary disguise can be seen through with the shadow viewing mirror. If you are able to find this person, then your reward is 10 million high-grade spirit stones, plus a mirage stone from at least the 5-colored mirage tree. When this middle-aged cultivator spoke the first few words, the old man did not care about it, but when he heard the words mirage stone, he immediately stood up, even his voice trembled a little. Is it really a mirage stone? Or something from the 5-colored mirage tree? The middle-aged cultivator gave a sneer and spoke. Steward Peng, Deputy City Master Mi has always been a man of his word. Why would he lie to you for a trivial mirage stone? The old man gave a ferocious smile. You can rest assured, even if this cultivator turns into a small grasshopper, I will still dig 3 feet into the ground to find him. The middle-aged cultivator nodded. Once this person appears, you do not need to catch him. As long as you delay him, then report his whereabouts to me. For him to arrive here, it would take him at least a month. However, you cannot be careless because of this, or else he might come here ahead of time. The old man once again gave a smile. From now on, I will monitor any cultivator heading to the Tian continent. Once they fall into the hands of this Peng Ripper, no one will be able to escape. Ha, good. Deputy City Lord Mi was right about Steward Peng. I'll take my leave first. The middle-aged cultivator laughed. He brought out a mirror and placed it before the old man. Then, he clasped his fists and quickly disappeared. Ning Cheng walked out of the transfer array and arrived at a huge public square. He had finally arrived at the Heaven continent. It hadn't been easy. But when Ning Cheng saw a huge sign on the Grand Plaza, he was immediately dumbfounded. On the sign was written, from the Yunwu city to the Mirage Gazing Island, it only takes 50,000 spirit stones. You did not read it wrong, it only takes 50,000 spirit stones. No wonder there were so many cultivators on the Mirage Gazing Island. 50,000 spirit stones was something that any ordinary cultivator would be able to afford. However, once they reached the Mirage Gazing Island, and then returned to the Yunwu city, they would have to pay 1,000,000 spirit stones. This was simply the same as eating people alive. In other words, even if they went, they would not be able to come back alive. No wonder Mu Xuanlin didn't have enough spirit stones to return to the Tian continent. Big brother, where are you going? I plan to stay in the Yunwu city for a few days, and then go to the Luoling city to play. When I saw Big brother, I felt that we were brought together by fate. Why don't we go together? A fragrant voice sounded out from the side of Ning Cheng. Ning Cheng immediately knew that it was that sissy again. What did he mean by, brought together by fate? It was only because he was the only one who had spoken to this fellow. Chapter 252. Hey! This old man, please don't call me big brother, my skin is itching. Ning Qing quickly raised his hand to stop this sissy's words. Big brother. Oh, old man, what do you mean by your skin is itching? The young man's thirst for knowledge was also very strong. When he heard this word he did not understand it, and quickly asked. Ning Qing grabbed his hair, and helplessly said, when I hear others call me big brother, my skin is allergic. Well, I do not intend to stay in the Yunwu city, I want to go to the Luoling city now. I have not been to the Luoling city, if you know how to get to the Luoling city. Ning Cheng's words had not yet finished, when this young man patted his chest and said, Old man, I just happen to have nothing to do, if you want to go to the Luoling city, I'll send you there. No matter where you want to go, I'll take care of it for you. Ning Cheng looked at this young man with his mouth wide open. Wasn't this person a bit too enthusiastic? How could there be such a hospitable person in the Tian continent? But Ning Cheng could not feel what this man was trying to do with him. This guy shouldn't be a back mountain enthusiast, right? He just wanted to know the route to the Luoling city, why would he send him there? Thinking until here, Ning Cheng felt that he had to get rid of this guy even more. I was just thinking about how we were brought together by fate. It turns out that you are also planning to go to the Luoling city. My name is Fu Xiaomei, the Xiao that goes straight to the clouds, the Mei that goes as fast as a ghost. This describes my speed as very fast. Once I start running, no one would be able to catch up with me. The young man's tone was getting more and more happy. Speaking till here, he seemed to have remembered something. As he spoke with some indignation in his voice, there is a group of boring people who just want to call me little sister Fu. I have absolutely nothing to say to them. My name is obviously Fu Xiaomei. Ning Cheng looked at this Fu Xiaomei from top to bottom, and thought in his heart, with such a dress, coupled with such a good voice, and even smeared with so much perfume, it would be strange if people did not call you little sister Fu. That's right, I still haven't asked for this old man's name. The more Fu Xiaomei spoke, the more excited he became, as if he and Ning Cheng were old friends for many years. Ning Cheng was speechless. He had only spoken to this Fu Xiaomei out of politeness until now. As for him to accompany this Fu Xiaomei to the Luoling city, he had never even thought about it. I'm called Ning Xiaocheng. Ning Cheng had just spoken out his name, when Fu Xiaomei spoke out in a pleasantly surprised voice, Aya, this is great, you call me Xiaocheng and I call you little sister, this is simply too predestined. Ning Cheng once again rubbed his hair. In his heart he couldn't help but think in the end, what kind of person was this? Just a moment ago he was still opposed to others calling him little sister, but now he actually called himself little sister. He really did not know how he managed to cultivate to the profound core 6th level. He had said the word fate several times already. Elder brother Xiaocheng, sit on my windmill. You see, my windmill from here to the Luoling city would take at most 2 to 3 days. Moreover, after arriving at the Luoling city, I will definitely take brother Xiaocheng to the best places to play. As long as you want to go, I can take you there. Fu Xiaomei's tone was incomparably enthusiastic, and even had a longing expression as he looked at Ning Cheng, as if he was afraid that Ning Cheng would not agree. All right, thank you, brother Fu. However, I will be in seclusion for a few days on the flying ship, so I might not be able to chat with brother Fu. Ning Cheng was not familiar with the Luoling city at all. Moreover, he did not even know the direction. Since Fu Xiaomei was this enthusiastic, then he might as well take a ride on his windmill. Fu Xiaomei, on hearing Ning Cheng agree, spoke up with even more excitement, that's great, elder brother Xiaocheng can just call me little sister. If elder brother Xiaocheng wants to go into seclusion, then you can go into seclusion. I will be responsible for controlling the windmill. I guarantee that elder brother Xiaocheng will be able to safely arrive at the Luoling city. Fu Xiaomei's tone was as if it was not Ning Cheng who wanted to take a ride on his windmill, but rather he wanted to take a ride on Ning Cheng's windmill. This Yunwu city is not something fun to play with. How can it be compared to the Luoling city? Elder brother Xiaocheng, let's go out of the city now. This broken city actually forbids flying. even flying is not allowed, it really is too much. Elder brother Xiaocheng, you only need to walk a little bit before you can get out of the city. If you feel tired, I can immediately call a beast carriage for us. No, it's also good to walk like this. Ning Qing did not wait for Fu Xiaomei to raise his hand to call a beast carriage, as he immediately stopped the other party's words. This Fu Xiaomei's enthusiasm was really something that he could not stand. Fu Xiaomei immediately spoke up, that's right, I also feel that the beast carriage is very bumpy. If there is nothing important, then I absolutely would not sit in a beast carriage. Elder brother Fu. Little sister, which academy are you from? Ning Qing was now a bit curious. This Fu Xiaomei was dressed casually, and was able to spend 1,000,000 spirit stones to directly teleport from the mirage-gazing city to the Yunwu city. It showed that he should be very rich. Fu Xiaomei showed a rare embarrassment, and then immediately spoke up, I am from the Luoling city's Fu clan, my mother is very, very powerful. Are you going to the mirage-gazing island to look for mirage stones to sell? Ning Qing asked again. This Fu Xiaomei spoke in an exaggerated tone. In addition to being a bit effeminate, the way he handled things was somewhat careless, which made Ning Qing have a good impression of him. What was even more strange was that Ning Qing could feel a trace of loneliness from Fu Xiaomei's warm and generous words. No, I am just going there to play, and also to make some friends. The spirit stones that my mother gave me are not something that I can use up. Elder brother Xiaocheng, is it because you lack spirit stones that you want to go to the mirage-gazing island? If you are lacking spirit stones, then I still have a few million spirit stones with me, you can take them and use them. It doesn't matter. Fu Xiaomei spoke as he directly took off his ring. Ning Qing quickly stopped Fu Xiaomei's actions, while in his heart he was amazed. Did this guy lack a brain? How could he just give out a few million spirit stones? Little sister, do you often lend out spirit stones to others like this? Ning Qing asked. Fu Xiaomei burst into laughter, to the point where he almost burst into tears. He waved his hand and spoke, how is that possible? I am only lending them to my friends. If a random person wants to borrow spirit stones from me, then it is absolutely impossible. Then is today the first time that you have lent spirit stones to others? Ning Qing asked. Of course not. The last time I met a friend in the 10-square city, I lent my ring to him. Moreover, there was also a time when I met a friend in the 1,000 treasure house. When he bought a magical weapon, he did not have enough spirit stones, so I spoke to him and lent him 1,000,000 spirit stones. Fu Xiaomei spoke without any care. Did these two friends return the spirit stones that they lent you? There is no need to return them. If my friends borrowed spirit stones then I would have to return them, then what kind of friends are they? Fu Xiaomei waved his hand and spoke in a neat and tidy manner. But after saying that, his eyes showed a trace of depression. I just wanted to lend a few spirit stones to my friend, but my younger sister caught up with that friend, injured him, and even snatched back the spirit stones that I had borrowed. Seeing them treat my friend like that, I felt a bit sad in my heart, and did not want to stay at home. Fu Xiaomei's depressed tone did not last for long, as he once again waved his hand and spoke, Elder brother Xiaocheng, you can rest assured, I am lending you spirit stones, and will absolutely not tell them about it. You can just take it and use it. Once you run out of spirit stones, my mother will definitely give it to me. My mother is an elder of the Rainbow Fall Sword sect, she has a lot of spirit stones. Ning Qing already understood a few things. He was sure that the person who had borrowed spirit stones from Fu Xiaomei was a swindler. Fu Xiaomei's younger sister knew that the other party was a swindler, as such she took the initiative to catch up with him and snatch back the spirit stones. Fu Xiaomei had always been talking about his mother. It could be seen that in the depths of his heart, the only person he relied on was his mother. Although he had brought out so many spirit stones, but no one dared to lay their hands on him, it could be seen that his Fu clan was not simple at all. His parents should be ruthless people. Although this Fu Xiaomei did not have any friends, but he longed for a lonely and pitiful person to have friends. Fortunately, he had a powerful mother. After talking to this Fu Xiaomei for a while, Ning Qing felt that this Fu Xiaomei also had some lovable points. At least he was a friend worth making. Elder brother Fu, I don't think that your younger sister did anything wrong on this point. If she really regarded you as a friend, then she would not casually ask you to borrow spirit stones. Even if she did borrow spirit stones, she would quickly return them to you. Moreover, she would also not even borrow your ring, so when making friends you should pay attention to this point. Ning Qing did not continue to call Fu Xiaomei as his younger sister, but rather once again changed to elder brother Fu. Since he regarded Fu Xiaomei as a friend, then he wanted to see if he could help him get rid of this sissy habit. I knew that elder brother Xiaocheng was a friend worth making. Good, when I make friends in the future I will definitely pay attention to it. We are already out of the city, I will bring out the windmill. Elder brother Xiaocheng, you can go into seclusion, I will be responsible for bringing you to the Luoling city. Fu Xiaomei once again reverted to his cheerful mood, as if he was not disturbed at all. While Fu Xiaomei was speaking, he had already brought out a very beautiful windmill-type magical artifact. This windmill not only had an exquisite and beautiful appearance, but after Ning Qing entered the windmill, the inside also looked like a boudoir. A fragrant artifact assailed his nostrils, moreover it was incomparably elegant. Ning Qing thought in his heart that this Fu Xiaomei might have some feminine tendencies. However, looking at this windmill-type magical artifact that Fu Xiaomei brought out, he knew that this person's mother was definitely a rich person. This windmill-type magical artifact was a top-quality best-quality flight-type spiritual artifact. Moreover, in addition to using spiritual consciousness and true essence to drive it, it could also be driven by high-grade spirit stones. A best-quality flight-type spiritual artifact in the Lu continent was already an astonishing price, not to mention a best-quality spiritual artifact that could be driven by spirit stones. Fu Xiaomei's words were very trustworthy. After he got on the windmill, he immediately sent Ning Qing to a room to go into seclusion, while he himself drove the windmill to quickly soar into the sky, and no longer pestered Ning Qing to speak. Ning Qing was sitting inside the windmill's room, and was finally able to breathe a sigh of relief. It was only now that he felt completely safe. Whether it was the Gui clan, or that soul essence cultivator, if they wanted to find him now, it would be almost impossible. Even if the people from the Gui clan could come to the Tian continent, they would not continue to have the cultivation of profound congealing realm. Thinking about the cultivation of profound congealing realm, Ning Qing couldn't help but frown. Although his strength was constantly rising, even his true essence and spiritual consciousness were rising exponentially, but his cultivation was still stuck at the profound congealing 7th level, and was simply unable to progress any further. Ning Qing shook his head, and put this matter aside. The first thing he wanted to do was to take out the jade strip containing the 10 uses of mirage stones. He wanted to know what kind of use the mirage stones had in the end. He had 39 mirage stones on him. If this thing really had a great use, then he could be said to have made a small fortune. Chapter 253. Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness swept into the jade strip, and almost froze. He had never seen a single material with so many uses. This 10 uses of mirage stones was not just limited to 10 uses, it was simply a densely packed list of them. Moreover, this was just a general description, there was no detailed method to use it. Mirage stone, a heaven and earth strange object, it is found in various mirage islands, and is extremely difficult to obtain. The color of the tree is not gaudy, and is as solid as a treasure. Its shape is round, its color is white and clean, its nature is illusory but firm, like a dream. Mirage stones have many uses, one of them. After the time it takes for half an incense stick to burn, Ning Qing finally put down the jade strip in his hands. He finally understood why mirage stones could make people go crazy. This thing's function was simply too big, moreover any cultivator would have a use for it. For cultivators with high cultivation, the first use of mirage stones was to open the heaven's way. In the Tian continent, the heaven's way was the place that people yearned for the most. Although Ning Qing did not understand what the heaven's way was, but he knew that if one wanted to climb to a higher peak in cultivation, then the only way was to enter the heaven's way. Using a mirage stone to open the heaven's way was not to directly use a mirage stone to open it, but rather because as long as one sold a mirage stone to the Tian continent's Heaven Alliance, one would be able to obtain an array flag to enter the heaven's way. Even if one did not use this array flag, they could exchange it for spirit stones, which could be exchanged for a sky-high price. This was just one of the uses of mirage stones. In addition to this, mirage stones could also be used to cultivate one's spiritual consciousness, as well as to expand and solidify one's sea of consciousness. The jade strip only stated that mirage stones had this kind of use, but did not give any specific method to use it. The third use of mirage stones was to refine a clear mirage pill. This kind of pill could prevent a cultivator from entering cultivation deviation, even if a cultivator had already entered cultivation deviation. As long as they took this pill in time, they would be able to recover. The fourth use of mirage stones: if a mirage stone was given to a top-ranked academy, then not only would they be able to obtain a quota for the inner sect disciple of that top-ranked academy, but they would also be able to obtain countless cultivation resources and spirit stones. The fifth use of mirage stones was to open the heaven's way in the Tian continent. As such, they would need mirage stones to refine array flags. The sixth use of the mirage stone can be used to refine the mirage heart pill. This kind of pill was of great use to the cultivators who were crossing the tribulation. Using this pill would reduce the invasion of heart demons. The higher the grade of the mirage stone, the higher the grade of the mirage heart pill refined, and the more formidable the effect of restraining heart demons would be. The seventh type was used by the academies to arrange a top-notch defensive grand array. If there were array flags refined from mirage stones as the array heart, then the grand array would directly be upgraded to a whole new level. As for the eighth use, if a cultivator below the sea opening realm encountered a bottleneck in their cultivation, they could use the mirage stones from the mirage trees that were formed from the mirage trees and above to refine the mirage realm pill. The mirage realm pill could simulate one's cultivation realm, but it could only be used once. The ninth type, Ning Cheng was secretly amazed in his heart. This thing really had a lot of uses. Just because of these uses, any mirage stone could be sold for a sky-high price. It was no wonder that there were so many cultivators who did not care about their lives to snatch mirage stones. As long as they could get their hands on a mirage stone from a 9-colored mirage tree, then they would not need to worry about cultivation resources. They would not even need to worry about joining a good academy. Moreover, he currently had a total of 18 mirage stones from the 9-colored mirage tree. Just how much wealth was this? How was this a small fortune? Unfortunately, he currently did not know how to refine pills related to the mirage stones, whether it was the clear mirage pill, mirage heart pill or the mirage realm pill. He did not know how to refine any of them. Ning Cheng took out a mirage stone from a 3-colored mirage tree, and swept it with his spiritual consciousness. It was obviously a milky white mirage stone, but he immediately felt as if he was in a dream. However, no matter how Ning Cheng analyzed it, he was not able to find the reason for this. After studying it for a full 2 days, Ning Cheng was not able to find anything of value, and had no choice but to put away the mirage stone once again. He intended to go to the Luoling city, and then look around to see if there were any jade strips that contained a detailed study of mirage stones. When Ning Cheng put away the mirage stone and came out of the room, he found that the windmill had already started to slowly descend. Elder brother Xiaocheng, did you finally come out of seclusion? It just so happens that we have already arrived outside the Luoling city. Fu Xiaomei, on seeing Ning Cheng come out, spoke out in a very proud manner. It was obvious that he was very happy that he was able to bring Ning Cheng to the Luoling city so quickly. Many thanks, elder brother Fu. Ning Cheng thanked him. Having a person to help him with the flight-type magical weapon was really different, allowing him to do whatever he wanted to do. The Luoling city was not much bigger than the Dragon and Phoenix city. At best it was almost the same. After Ning Cheng followed Fu Xiaomei through the gates of the Luoling city, he found that the streets were not as wide as the streets of the Dragon and Phoenix city. It seems that knowing someone by reputation was not as good as meeting them in person. The Tian continent was a place that the rest of the 9 continents yearned for. Even the cultivators of the Lu continent were very eager to come to the Tian continent. Now that Ning Cheng had arrived at the Tian continent, he could only look around and find that it was nothing more than this. The only difference was that the spiritual qi here was slightly richer compared to the Dragon and Phoenix city. Senior apprentice brother Fu, you're back, young master Fu. as soon as Fu Xiaomei entered the city, he was immediately greeted by a lot of greetings. Even Ning Qing could hear that these greetings were very perfunctory, and even had a trace of disdain in them. However, Fu Xiaomei still smiled and waved to the many cultivators on the street. That's right, I'm back, this is my friend Ning Xiaocheng. Yes, this is my friend Ning Xiaocheng. Fu Xiaomei walked all the way to greet them, and every time he would bring out the words "this is my friend Ning Xiaocheng." Ning Qing could hear it, although Fu Xiaomei said that he was his friend, but the eyes that were cast towards him were not good, and were basically filled with disdain and schadenfreude. Ning Qing did not care about it, he did not ask Fu Xiaomei to borrow spirit stones, moreover Fu Xiaomei's younger sister would also not chase after him. Besides, even if she chased after him, he was not afraid of it. Fu Xiaomei only had the cultivation of Profound Core's 6th level, and his younger sister estimated that she would at most be at the intermediate stages of the Profound Core realm. These people are all snobs, don't look at them politely greeting me, but the fact is that they all despise me in their hearts. If not for the fact that they are afraid of my family's influence, perhaps these people would have already rushed up to snatch my spirit stones. Although Fu Xiaomei was smiling and greeting these people, but after he finished his greetings, he whispered to Ning Qing to explain. Ning Qing looked at Fu Xiaomei in surprise. This younger sister of his was not stupid, his heart was as clear as a mirror. Elder brother Fu, I'm going to the Precious River rest stop to stay. As Ning Qing spoke, he had already seen the Precious River rest stop. The Precious River rest stop was incomparably gorgeous, and was erected on one side of the main street in the city. It was just like a 5-star hotel in Jiangzhou, and was very eye-catching. Elder brother Xiaocheng, come to my Fu Ling villa to live, it is definitely more comfortable than living in the Precious River rest stop. Fu Xiaomei waved his hand and spoke in a very straightforward manner. Ning Qing hesitated a little before speaking. So be it, I will first go to the Fu Ling villa to sit down. When there's nothing else, I'll go to Precious River rest stop. Ning Qing wanted to take a look at the strength of a clan in the Tian continent, as well as inquire about the situation of the academies in this place. Elder brother Ning, you will definitely like the Fu Ling villa. Fu Xiaomei felt that Ning Qing was truly a good friend. Before coming to the Fu Ling villa, Ning Qing would never have thought that the Fu Ling villa would be this majestic. This villa was similar to the Dragon and Phoenix City's Dragon and Phoenix 9-Star Academy. The incomparably imposing entrance, coupled with a defensive array close to the 8th rank, was even more imposing than the outside of Luoling City. After entering the villa, Ning Qing discovered that it was simply a small town. There were all kinds of restrictions, and all kinds of buildings were planned in an orderly manner. Big clans really were different. He did not know how many stars this Fu clan was, but it unexpectedly had such a large scale and imposing aura. I live in the east side, elder brother Xiaocheng can come with me, Fu Xiaomei said as he quickened his pace. Ning Qing followed Fu Xiaomei through a few artificial lakes, before they arrived in front of a more beautiful building. Ning Qing compared it to the other buildings, and found that this building was much more beautiful than the rest of the place. Moreover, the appearance was also a lot more exquisite. Ning Qing guessed that this should be because Fu Xiaomei's mother's status was relatively high. Young Master Fu is back, young Master Fu. There were all kinds of respectful greetings coming from outside. Ning Qing could hear that these voices were much better than the greetings from Fu Xiaomei outside. Little sister Fu, you went out to fool around. Who asked you to bring back a bunch of scoundrel friends? Immediately take your scoundrel friends and roll out of here. A flame-like voice rolled over like a flood, causing Fu Xiaomei's complexion to immediately change. Ning Qing had already seen the person who had spoken. It was a young girl dressed in a tight red cultivator's robe. This young girl was also carrying a long sword-type magical weapon on her back. She had almond-shaped eyes and an oval-shaped face, but her face was filled with a murderous aura, as she stared at Fu Xiaomei in anger. Beside the girl in red, there was another girl in a light blue dress. The girl in the blue dress had an oval face, and her appearance was more demure than the girl in red. There was a faint smile on her face. After Ning Qing saw the two girls, his complexion slightly changed. He had always thought that his cultivation progress was not slow. But now, Compared to the two women in front of him, Ning Qing realized just how slow his cultivation progress was. These two young girls were both at the soul essence realm. The female cultivator in the light blue dress was already at the soul essence second level. Since this red-robed young girl was Fu Xiaomei's little sister, then why did her cultivation far surpass Fu Xiaomei's? Fu Xiaomei, on hearing this red-robed girl's scolding, his face immediately turned red, and only after a moment did he speak up in a loud voice, "Fu Xingnan, you are too much. Elder brother Xiaocheng is my friend, what's wrong with me bringing my friend back for a visit? Why don't you bring your friends over? Why can you do it, but I can't?" Originally Fu Xiaomei's little sister was called Fu Xingnan. This name was actually quite appropriate. Looking at her dressing and her strong tone, it seems that she should be the elder brother. But Ning Qing in his heart was very unhappy. This Fu Xingnan simply did not listen to Fu Xiaomei's words, and directly told him to roll out of here. This woman was somewhat self-righteous. "Your friend? Bah, how can a bear like you make a decent friend? Why would I bring a friend back? How can your friend be compared to Han Rui? A puny profound congealing cultivator, and even dares to enter the Fu Ling villa." Fu Xingnan's tone was getting more and more severe, and even contained a trace of murderous intent. Ning Qing was secretly angry in his heart. At this time he was already beginning to doubt his own judgment. Before this woman chasing after Fu Xiaomei's friend, it was really possible that she was deliberately looking for trouble. Chapter 254. Fu Xiaomei's face turned red, even his hands were trembling. Ning Qing on seeing this gave out a dark sigh in his heart. He had known Fu Xiaomei for a long time, but had never seen him so angry. No wonder he did not want to return to the Fu Ling villa. With such a sister, no one would want to come back. "What? Do you want to fight with me again? With your cultivation?" Fu Xingnan glanced at Fu Xiaomei with disdain. "Forget it, Xingnan, your brother does not come back often," the blue-robed woman persuaded from the side. Fu Xingnan coldly glanced at Ning Qing, and then spoke to Fu Xiaomei, "For the sake of Han Rui's face, I'll let you go this time." Saying that, she stared at Ning Qing and spoke, "I'm warning you, profound congealing ant, if you want to have any ideas about the Fu Ling Villa's spirit stones, then you better wash your neck clean, you shameless thing. Go take a piss and look at yourself. If you were the Fu Ling Villa's villa master, then even 10 palanquins would not be able to carry your grandpa Ning." Ning Qing on the left side of this woman's words, and on the right side of this shameless ant, made him angry. For him to come here, it really was to give face to Fu Xiaomei. Who did this woman think she was? "You're courting death." Fu Xingnan's entire body was overflowing with murderous intent, as the long sword on her back automatically flew up. "Xingnan, what's going on? Why did your brother just come back, and you want to start?" A slightly dissatisfied woman's voice arrived. After Fu Xiaomei heard this voice, he immediately spoke up with joy, "Mother, I brought a friend back, but Xingnan actually wants me to fuck off. This is really going too far." Ning Qing immediately saw a middle-aged beautiful woman appear in front of him. He did not even see how this middle-aged beautiful woman had arrived. After this middle-aged beautiful woman heard Fu Xiaomei's words, she gave a smile and nodded to Ning Qing, "Welcome to our Fu Ling villa as a guest." Ning Qing was shocked in his heart. He was sure that among all the people he had met, there was no cultivator with a higher cultivation than this middle-aged beautiful woman. He quickly cupped his fists and bowed, "Ning Xiaoqing greets auntie." No wonder Fu Xiaomei did not dare to provoke anyone when he went out. This fellow's mother's cultivation was just too high. Seeing this middle-aged beautiful woman welcoming Ning Qing, Fu Xingnan gave a cold snort, and did not even speak a single word, as she pulled the blue-robed woman beside her and quickly left. When the middle-aged woman saw this scene, she just frowned and didn't say much. "Mother, this is my friend Ning Xiaocheng, his cultivation is somewhat low. I want to take him to the spiritual essence pond to cultivate for a period of time." Fu Xiaomei, seeing that Fu Xingnan had already left, his complexion immediately returned to normal, and quickly spoke up in a sweet voice. The middle-aged beautiful woman sighed and said, Xiaomei, the clan's spiritual essence pond is not a place that anyone can casually enter for cultivation. Even you have to apply for it. I can't make this decision. Fu Xiaomei spoke in a somewhat disapproving manner. Xingnan was able to cultivate to the soul essence realm, was it not because of her family's spiritual essence pond and the academy's small spiritual domain? Otherwise, she would at most be a late-stage profound core cultivator. Ning Qing finally understood why Fu Xingnan and Han Rui's cultivation were so high. It turned out that they had a special place for cultivation. Unfortunately, he was a rogue cultivator, and could only look for some spirit stones and pills for cultivation. Thinking back to the time when he was in the Dawn Forest, he had also found a spiritual essence pond, but the quality of that spiritual essence pond was not high, moreover the quantity was also very small. If he could also have such a holy land for cultivation, and wholeheartedly went inside to cultivate, then presumably his cultivation would also continue to progress. The family's spiritual essence pond is very limited, and is far from being comparable to the Academy's small spiritual domain. But now the management of the Rainbow Fall Sword sect is extremely strict. Even I cannot help your friend enter the Rainbow Fall Sword sect and become a core disciple. If you are not a core disciple, then even if you enter the Rainbow Fall Sword sect, without any special contribution, you would not be able to enter the small spiritual domain to cultivate. The middle-aged beautiful woman was extremely doting on Fu Xiaomei, but she really could not help him. Ning Qing could see a trace of worry in the eyes of this middle-aged beautiful woman. He took the initiative to cup his fists and spoke, "Many thanks Auntie for your kindness. I would like to ask if you want to enter the Rainbow Fall Sword sect's small spiritual domain to cultivate, other than the core disciples, what kind of contribution do the other disciples need in order to enter?" Ning Qing in his heart was already somewhat eager to enter the Holy Land for cultivation of a major academy. His cultivation was not able to keep up in the Lu continent, and now that he had arrived at the Tian continent, he was even more behind. Recently there have been some things happening in the academy. Me and Xiaomei's father were also involved in it. So be it. I will first arrange for you to enter the Rainbow Fall Sword sect's inner sect. In the future I will help you to see if you can enter the small spiritual domain to cultivate. The middle-aged beautiful woman did not even ask about Ning Cheng's origins and other things. Just because Ning Cheng was a friend of her son, she did not care about helping him. Ning Cheng finally understood where Fu Xiaomei's character came from. It turned out that he had inherited it from his mother. "Many thanks Auntie, I would like to try it myself, and see if I can pass the Academy's test to enter the Rainbow Fall Sword sect. If I cannot, then I would have to ask Auntie for help. If I have not even tried it myself, then I would have to ask Auntie for help. It would simply be too outrageous." Ning Qing quickly thanked her. He could see that Fu Xiaomei's mother was somewhat worried. Listening to her words, Ning Qing guessed that this worry might have something to do with the academy. If he now asked the other party for help, then perhaps it would be even more disadvantageous to Fu Xiaomei's mother. Sure enough, after Ning Cheng's words came out, the middle-aged beautiful woman's eyes revealed a trace of surprise. Although she did not care about what friends her son made, but in her heart she hoped that the friends her son made were not some despicable people who would take advantage of their son. Good, you can go and try it. If it doesn't work, then I will definitely help you enter the Rainbow Fall Sword sect. 3 months later, the Rainbow Fall Sword sect will be selecting disciples. Let Xiaomei take you there. You are still young, but you are already able to cultivate to the profound congealing 7th level. It is already not bad. I believe that you will have a chance. The middle-aged beautiful woman spoke in a very happy manner. Fu Xiaomei quickly spoke, "Mother, you can rest assured, elder brother Xiaocheng can definitely do it." The middle-aged beautiful woman nodded to Ning Cheng, and then spoke to Fu Xiaomei with a tender voice, "I knew that you were coming back, so I specifically came to see you. Now that I am going back to the academy, do you have enough spirit stones?" "I still have a lot of spirit stones, Mother does not have to worry about it." Fu Xiaomei raised the ring in his hand. After the middle-aged beautiful woman left, Ning Cheng only sat for a while, before he excused himself to leave. For Fu Xiaomei to have such a sister, he really did not want to continue staying here. Ning Cheng arrived at the Precious River rest stop, and found a medium-grade room to stay in. He decided to stay here and wait for the black-robed woman to come over. He felt that the black-robed woman did not have any malicious intent towards him. He also wanted to know why this black-robed woman was looking for him. At the same time, Ning Qing also wanted to join the Rainbow Fall Sword sect. The Rainbow Fall Sword sect's cultivation's small spiritual domain was very attractive to him. Since Fu Xingnan could cultivate to the soul essence first level in the small spiritual domain, then he could also do the same. Ning Cheng had never thought about cultivating to the soul essence first level. As long as he could fill up his core lake in the small spiritual domain, he would be perfectly satisfied. As the years passed by, Ning Cheng was even more eager to return to Earth. He was not sure if the flow of time here was the same as the flow of time on Earth. If it was not the same, then by the time he cultivated for 100 years, Rulin would have already passed away. If Rulin was no longer here, then what was the point of him going back? For 99% of the cultivators in the Yixing mainland, the purpose of cultivation was to obtain more power, a longer lifespan, and more profound mysteries. But for Ning Cheng, constantly running around, constantly looking for resources for cultivation, there was only one purpose, and that was to hope that one day he would be able to return to Earth. Originally he knew that the possibility of this happening was slim to none, but after seeing the skeleton at the bottom of the Blood River, he instead had a goal, and was even more confident about returning to Earth. As long as he could find the things that the skeleton needed, then perhaps he could really return to Earth. The precious river rest stop was indeed worthy of being the largest rest stop in the Luoling city. Ning Cheng had only found a medium-grade room, but this room was not only rich in spiritual qi, even the restrictions and shielding array formations were extraordinary. Inside the room, there were also 2 cultivation rooms. Ning Cheng observed the room, and decided to arrange a shielding array formation himself. Even if he did not intend to take out his secret things, in this rest stop, if he could be a bit more careful, then it would be better to be a bit more careful. Just as Ning Cheng was planning to continue arranging the array formation in the room, the restriction at the door was touched. Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness immediately swept towards Fu Xingnan and the other blue-robed female cultivator. These 2 women were standing in front of the door of his room. "What's the matter?" Ning Cheng opened the restriction, and spoke with an expressionless voice. "I specifically came here to warn you, you better immediately get the hell out of the Luoling city for me, otherwise this grand aunt will definitely kill you as a sacrifice to her sword." Fu Xingnan stared at Ning Cheng with a murderous look on her face, as she spoke out one word at a time. "Fuck off." Ning Cheng spat out a single word, and without hesitation, once again activated the restriction at the door. This place was not the Fu Ling villa, this woman was simply too opinionated. Chapter 255. This bastard. Fu Xingnan's face turned livid as she stared at Ning Cheng's room. She had never thought that a puny profound congealing ant would dare to be so arrogant. This was not the first time that she had met a guy who wanted to swindle spirit stones from Fu Xiaomei's hands. Moreover, this kind of person would always end up miserably at the hands of her. But today, she met someone who didn't buy it. Fortunately, she was still rational enough to come here and trigger the restrictions to find Ning Cheng. However, if she dared to destroy the restrictions in Ning Cheng's room, then it would not be a simple matter. Pu Bao Rest Stop's backer wasn't small, and it wasn't something that her Fu Ling villa could manage. "Xingnan, let's go. This person's bones look very hard. He shouldn't be the kind of person who wants to rely on senior brother Xiao Mei's spirit chaos stone," the woman named Han Rui advised. "I will find someone to keep an eye on him. Let's see if he really wants to stay in his room for the rest of his life," Fu Xingnan said with hatred, as she followed the blue-robed woman out of Ning Cheng's room. After activating the restriction, Ning Cheng was ready for Fu Xingnan to break through the door. If Fu Xingnan broke through the door, then he would definitely go all out. Even if he was only at profound congealing 7th level, but his spiritual consciousness and true essence was not something that an average cultivator could compare to. At most, he would leave Luoling city after the battle. What Ning Qing did not expect was that even after he waited for the time it took for an incense stick to burn inside the room, not only did Fu Xingnan not break through the door, but his spiritual consciousness even swept out and found that Fu Xingnan had already turned around and left. Presumably, this woman was also afraid of the power of the precious river rest stop. Since he had already left, Ning Qing did not care about it. While he was refining pills, he was also tempering his spiritual consciousness. After Ning Qing came to know the benefits of having a powerful spiritual consciousness, as long as he had free time, he would start to temper his spiritual consciousness. He didn't have a cultivation method that specifically refined his divine sense, but he had a set of methods that he had researched himself. More than 2 months passed in a flash. In another 2 days, it would be 3 months. What made Ning Qing puzzled was that not only did Fu Xingnan not cause any trouble for him, even Fu Xiaomei did not come over. It was reasonable to say that Fu Xiaomei should have come looking for him to participate in the disciple selection of the Rainbow Fall Sword sect, but he did not know why he had not come yet. Ning Qing was not worried about Fu Xiaomei, as Fu Xiaomei was a person from the Fu Ling villa. Moreover, his mother was such a powerful existence, so she should be fine in Luoling City. Seeing that the day of the Rainbow Fall Sword sect's disciple selection was just around the corner, Ning Qing decided to completely remove his disguise. If Fu Xiaomei did not come, then he would definitely go to the Rainbow Fall Sword sect. Going to the Rainbow Fall Sword sect to participate in the disciple selection, he did not dare to change his appearance. He had an appointment with the black-robed female cultivator to meet at the Precious River rest stop. Since the other party had not arrived yet, he did not want to continue waiting. Ning Qing had just walked out of the room, when a waiter from the Precious River rest stop hurriedly greeted him. "Excuse me, are you Ning Xiaoqing?" "That's right." Ning Qing nodded. "Here is a letter for you, sent by the Fu Ling Villa's young master Fu." The shop assistant quickly took out a letter and handed it to Ning Qing. Ning Qing received the letter, and knew that Fu Xiaomei definitely had something to say. "Elder brother Xiao Qing, because of a few things that happened, my father came back and asked me to go into seclusion in the clan's spiritual essence pond, and to not allow me to come out before I reach the soul essence realm. So I cannot accompany you to participate in the disciple selection of the Rainbow Fall Sword sect. You can rest assured, I have already spoken to my mother. Even if you fail in the disciple selection, my mother will definitely help you enter the Rainbow Fall Sword sect as an inner sect disciple. Moreover, when you participate in the disciple selection, you must not change your appearance, otherwise, the consequences would be very serious." Followed by a lot of greetings, as well as some details about participating in the disciple selection. Ning Qing put away the letter, and felt very grateful in his heart. He did not think that Fu Xiaomei would already know about the matter of him changing his appearance. Presumably it was Fu Xiaomei's mother who told him about it. With Fu Xiaomei's mother's ability, it would not be difficult for her to see through his disguise at a glance. Although Fu Xiaomei knew that he had changed his appearance, but he still treated him with sincerity, and did not even ask why he had changed his appearance. It could be seen that this person was a good friend. No wonder that Fu Xingnan did not come to bother him. Originally she knew that Fu Xiaomei would go into seclusion. With Fu Xiaomei's cultivation at the Profound Core's 6th level, wanting to advance to the Soul Essence realm, even if he cultivated in the Spiritual Essence Pond, he estimated that it would not be an easy thing to do. Ning Qing could only secretly envy him. The welfare of the disciples of these big families and big academies was really good. He was just a rogue cultivator. If he wanted to continue advancing, then if he did not rely on a big academy, then it would definitely be extremely difficult. Even if he had some opportunities, and even had the mysterious yellow bead, but without someone to guide him, it would still be extremely difficult. "I did not think that you would really be here. It seems that I did not read the wrong person." A crisp voice interrupted Ning Cheng's contemplation. Ning Cheng looked up and saw a black-robed female cultivator. At this time the black-robed female cultivator had already changed her robes, and was wearing a light yellow skirt. Although this woman was not beautiful, but her skin was very white, and coupled with the light yellow skirt, it was also a bit pleasing to the eye. Even if Ning Qing did not know the origin of this woman, but he knew that she was not simple. With only the cultivation of profound congealing 9th level, she was able to go out to the sea to search for the Mirage Ship Island, and then return to the Tian continent safe and sound. It would be strange if such a woman was simple. Of course, this junior apprentice sister helped me once, so I naturally have to personally thank her. Ning Qing gave a chuckle as he cupped his fists and spoke. The female cultivator showed a faint smile, although Ning Cheng's cultivation was higher than hers, but she did not care much about him calling her junior apprentice sister. Let's go in and talk about it. Good, I have not checked out of my room, let's go to my room. Ning Qing said. The female cultivator followed Ning Qing into the room, and seeing Ning Qing activate the restrictions around the room, she gave a faint smile and spoke. My name is Liang Kursen, and I come from the great Liang True country. I do not know your name. Ning Qing had previously said that he was called Ning Xiaocheng to Fu Xiaomei, but because they were not familiar with each other, he also did not intend to associate with Fu Xiaomei. Now that he wanted to go to the Rainbow Fall Sword sect to register for the selection, he also did not intend to continue using the name Ning Xiaocheng. So he only hesitated for a moment before he spoke. I am called Ning Cheng, a rogue cultivator. I can see that you are a rogue cultivator. You said that I helped you once, but I guess you should not know how I helped you. Although I said it with a bit of a grudge, and you might look down on me, but it is very important to me. Although Liang Kursen spoke in a smiling tone, but the way she spoke was very straightforward. Ning Cheng also cupped his fists and spoke in a stern manner. I would like to hear the details. Liang Kursen gave an N sound and spoke. Chang Siki is my friend, it was me who arranged for her to enter your room. If I had not let her enter your room, then at this time you would have already been drinking spiritual tea in the Soul Essence Cultivator's room on the Mirage Gazing Conglomerate. As for whether you would be able to open your mouth to drink, that is another matter altogether. What? Ning Qing suddenly stood up, as he stared at Liang Kursen in amazement. Liang Kursen's words were really too amazing. Moreover, what she said was not wrong. If not for Chang Siki's matter, then he would never have left the mirage-gazing conglomerate. But he did not doubt Liang Kursen's words, because at that time the one who had chased him out was that intermediate stage soul essence cultivator. Liang Kursen raised her hand and took out 2 cups. This time Ning Qing did not wait for her to take out the spiritual tea, as he took the initiative to take out a jade pot and poured a cup of tea for Liang Kursen. This is something that I brought from a friend of mine, it is quite good. Liang Kursen gave a non-committal smile, but did not drink the spiritual tea that Ning Qing brought out. Rather she spoke, since you can come here, then you are definitely not a simple person. I believe that my eyes are not playing tricks on me, and would not misjudge a person. The transmission array of the Mirage Gazing Island has already been heavily monitored by that old man Peng, yet you were still able to come here safe and sound. Ning Qing did not care about Liang Kursen's compliments, as he helped Liang Kursen pour a cup of spiritual tea, and once again cupped his fists and thanked her. If Chang Siki is a person arranged by Senior Apprentice Sister Liang, then I really would like to thank Senior Apprentice Sister for saving my life. Seeing Ning Qing change the form of address from Junior Apprentice Sister to Senior Apprentice Sister, Liang Kursen covered her mouth and gently smiled. Elder brother Ning can just call me Junior Apprentice Sister, women always hope that their age can be younger. Good, then I ask Junior Apprentice Sister Liang to advise me. Ning Qing did not care about such a form of address. Liang Kursen also did not continue to keep him guessing, and directly spoke. The man who broke open the restriction on your room was called Lang Mao. Siki and him were only temporary. The purpose was of course to have a helper on the mirage-gazing conglomerate. As for Siki's origin and reason, I will not speak about it. Siki going to your room to seduce you, this idea was not Lang Mao's, but rather Siki and I came up with it. At the same time, he instigated Lang Mao to join forces with the ship's deacons to chase you out of the ship. Ning Qing sighed and spoke. Fortunately, I was not seduced, otherwise, would you not have saved me? Liang Kursen chuckled again. How could that be? If you were really seduced, then you can only say that your luck is pretty good. Siki won't resist. She was going to make it real, but she didn't expect you to miss such a good opportunity. Ning Qing gave a wry smile and waved his hand. I want to know why you want to help me. At the same time, I also want to know, why did the soul essence cultivator on the mirage-gazing conglomerate want to kill me? Ning Qing did not believe that Chang Siki would really put on a fake act, as such he did not need to take it seriously. Liang Kersen understood Ning Cheng's doubts, and immediately spoke, "Then let's talk about why that soul essence cultivator wanted to kill you. I think that you must have obtained a mirage stone, moreover you must have obtained more than one. Not only that, but the grade of the mirage stone you obtained is also very high." Ning Qing did not get excited, he knew that since others suspected him, then there must be a reason for them to suspect him. He calmly looked at Liang Kersen and asked, "Is this your judgment, or is it the judgment of that soul essence cultivator?" "It is my judgment, moreover I know that that soul essence cultivator is also suspicious of you. If he wanted to search for you, then at most it would only take 3 to 5 days. It was only when that soul essence cultivator went into seclusion for a short period of time, that I let you leave the ship." Liang Kersen spoke in a calm manner. "How do you know that I obtained a mirage stone, moreover it is of a very high grade?" Ning Qing stared into Liang Kersen's eyes. Liang Kersen did not seem to care about Ning Cheng's reaction, she did not even have a bit of precaution as she picked up the cup of spiritual tea that Ning Cheng had poured a moment ago and took a sip before speaking, "Because I know that you have the twin heavenly cloud wings." But Liang Kersen's words had not yet finished, as she stood up in shock, then as if she had seen a ghost she grabbed the cup of spiritual tea, as she stared at the cup, and spoke after a good while, "This is a spiritual tea refined from the true spiritual nectar, you are actually such a wastrel." Chapter 256. Ning Qing was also shocked, how did this woman know that he had the twin heavenly cloud wings? That's right, it should be the moment when he rushed out of the Mirage Ship Island, which was seen by this female cultivator. Thinking of this, Ning Qing frowned. The twin heavenly cloud wings was not a simple thing, once it was exposed, it would not be a good thing for him. Seeing Ning Qing frown, Liang Kersen immediately knew what Ning Cheng was worried about, she slowly sat down and spoke, "Elder brother Ning does not have to worry that I will speak about the matter of you having the twin heavenly cloud wings, if I wanted to speak about it, then I would not have come here today. But elder brother Ning actually used the spiritual enhancement true nectar to refine a spiritual tea, it really makes me unable to believe it." Ning Qing waved his hand, as if he did not hear the meaning behind Liang Kersen's words, "This is a gift from a familiar friend, junior apprentice sister Liang had once saved my life, I naturally cannot be stingy." Seeing that Ning Qing did not have the intention to give her this spiritual tea, Liang Kersen was slightly disappointed in her heart, but she quickly adjusted herself and continued, "Shin Yongyi being injured in a sneak attack was also arranged by me, but he did not know about it. Since you saved Shin Yongyi, it made me think that you are a trustworthy person, so I decided to make a gamble." Ning Qing understood the meaning behind Liang Kersen's words, not to mention the Yixing mainland where the strong preyed on the weak, even in the Jiangzhou where the laws were sound, if this kind of thing occurred, then there would not be many people who could help. No wonder after that youth was injured he fell to my side, his injuries were not light. Ning Qing had some doubts in his heart, the opposite party did not know him, so why would she attack a person she knew, just to save him? Liang Kersen showed a faint smile, Siki attacking Shin Yongyi was actually for his own good, otherwise Shin Yongyi might not have even lost his life. Did you think that after obtaining a mirage stone on the mirage gazing conglomerate, you would be able to safely return to the mirage gazing conglomerate? Seeing Ning Qing turn silent, Liang Kersen once again spoke, "You have the twin heavenly cloud wings because I saw it, the moment you left the mirage gazing conglomerate, I saw it. You do not have to worry about it, because my eyes are different from others, I am sure that I was the only one who saw it." Ning Qing had already guessed this, but instead calmed down, he asked, "Did you obtain a lot of mirage stones on the mirage ship?" Liang Kersen did not deny it, "Yes, I indeed obtained 9 mirage stones, but unfortunately, I only obtained 3 mirage stones and 6 mirage stones. As for the 9 colored mirage stones that I need, I was not able to obtain even a single one." Ning Qing couldn't help but think in his heart, this woman really was not simple, relying on her special eyes, she was able to obtain 9 of them. One had to know that he relied on the twin heavenly cloud wings and his powerful and condensed spiritual consciousness, which allowed him to obtain a bit more than others. I know that you have at least obtained 9 9-colored mirage stones. I do not need much. As long as you can give me a 9-colored mirage stone, I can give you 4 6-colored mirage stones. At the same time you can open up any other conditions. Liang Kursen spoke in a very straightforward manner, as she stared at Ning Cheng, waiting for Ning Cheng's reply. How did you know that I obtained the 9-colored mirage tree's mirage stone? Ning Cheng did not immediately answer Liang Kursen's words, but instead asked a question. Because I saw that intermediate stage soul essence cultivator standing next to a huge pit and muttering to himself, someone unexpectedly dug out the 9-colored mirage tree, who would have such a powerful magical weapon? Liang Kursen replied in a sinking voice, later when I came out, I saw that you have the twin heavenly cloud wings. I guessed that the person who dug out the 9-colored mirage tree was definitely you without a doubt. Because the 9-colored mirage tree is located in the depths of the Mirage Ship Island, an ordinary profound core cultivator would simply not be able to reach there in such a short time. Moreover, you have the twin heavenly cloud wings. Ning Cheng came to understand. It seems that what Liang Kursen had said was not wrong. For a cultivator who could dig out the 9-colored mirage tree, that intermediate stage soul essence cultivator would definitely not let it go. To be exact, Liang Kursen's judgment was correct. If he had continued to stay on the ship, then perhaps in a few days he would have suffered a calamity. Many thanks, Junior Apprentice Sister Liang. I now understand that Junior Apprentice Sister Liang really did save my life. Ning Cheng thanked her, before he suddenly asked again, I have the twin heavenly cloud wings, which allowed me to reach the depths of the Mirage Ship Island so quickly, but how could Junior Apprentice Sister Liang see that place so quickly? According to my observation, Junior Apprentice Sister Liang's cultivation does not seem to be higher than mine. Liang Kursen, on hearing Ning Cheng's words, gave a chuckle and spoke, the reason why I came here today to trade with Elder Brother Ning, is because I know that Elder Brother Ning is a trustworthy person. Elder Brother Ning has his own secrets, but I also have my own secrets. Please forgive me, but I do not want to speak out my own secrets. If Elder Brother Ning is willing to exchange for the 9-colored mirage stone, then I will agree to any of your conditions. If Elder Brother Ning does not agree to exchange for the 9-colored mirage stone, then I will treat it as if I had never come here. At the same time I will also not divulge Elder Brother Ning's secrets. Ning Cheng nodded. He knew that since Liang Kursen had spoken in such a manner, then even if he wanted the other party to accompany him to sleep, the other party would not hesitate to agree. From this, it could be seen that the mirage stone of the 9-colored mirage tree was very important to Liang Kursen. Junior Apprentice Sister Liang, as far as I know, all mirage stones are white in color, but the degree of whiteness varies. Why do you want to speak about the 9-colored mirage stone? Ning Cheng did not agree, nor did he disagree, but rather asked about an irrelevant matter. Senior Apprentice Brother Ning, you don't even know about this, right? Liang Kursen looked at Ning Cheng with some surprise. After a while, she suddenly took out a jade basin, while simultaneously pouring a little water into the jade basin. She then took out a white-colored mirage stone and placed it into the jade basin. Ning Cheng was amazed to find that the white-colored mirage stone in the jade basin immediately shot out 6 different colors. It was like a dream. It was simply magnificent. Liang Kursen once again took out the mirage stone. The mirage stone was still white in color, and the water was still the same as before. Ning Cheng did not wait for Liang Kursen to speak, as he also took out a mirage stone and placed it into the jade basin. The mirage stone was pure to the point that it did not have a trace of impurities. It immediately shot out 9 different colors. It was even more beautiful than before. So it was like this. Ning Cheng muttered to himself. You really do have a 9-colored mirage stone. Liang Kursen was pleasantly surprised as she stared at the mirage stone in the jade basin. The fire in her eyes could be seen at a glance. Ning Cheng smiled. Of course I have a 9-colored mirage stone. This one is for you. For me. Even if Liang Kursen knew that Ning Cheng had 9 9-colored mirage stones, but for Ning Cheng to casually give it to her like this, it was still too shocking for her. The value of a 9-colored mirage stone was incomparably huge. Even if it was 106 colored mirage stones, it would still be far from being comparable to a 9-colored mirage stone. She wanted to use this opportunity to repay Ning Cheng's kindness in exchange for a 9-colored mirage stone. Of course it's for you. Do you think my life is so worthless? You saved my life, yet I still want the things of my savior. You really look down on me too much. Ning Cheng finished, as he took out a jade bottle and spoke, "This is a spiritual enhancement true nectar, I will also give it to you." Sure enough, there really is a spiritual enhancement true nectar. Liang Kersen suppressed her excitement, as she quickly put away the mirage stone and the spiritual enhancement true nectar that Ning Cheng gave her, as she gave a respectful bow to Ning Cheng and spoke, "Many thanks, Big Brother Ning." She was completely unable to contain the excitement in her heart. Not only did she obtain a mirage stone, but she also obtained a spiritual enhancement true nectar. It could be seen that she had not done anything wrong, although she had taken a huge risk, but she had obtained a much greater reward. With the Mirage Stone and the Spiritual Enhancement True Nectar, if she were to join the Rainbow Fall Sword sect, then in just 3 years, she would once again climb up to the Soul Essence realm. With the spiritual seeding cultivation method that she cultivated, once she advanced to the Soul Essence realm, her cultivation would definitely be able to insta-kill those of the same level. If she could enter the Rainbow Fall Sword sect's small spiritual domain to cultivate, then perhaps in less than 10 years, she would be able to sculpt her soul. Big Brother again, Ning Qing sighed. Fortunately Fu Xiaomei was not here. Otherwise he would have definitely asked if his skin was allergic. It was only after a good while that Liang Kersen calmed down her excitement, as she tried to calm down her tone and spoke, "Does Big Brother Ning have any plans?" Ning Qing did not conceal it. "I heard that the Rainbow Fall Sword sect is recruiting disciples. I was just about to go to the Rainbow Fall Sword sect to try my luck. If I can run into some luck, then I want to become an inner sect disciple of the Rainbow Fall Sword sect, and even stay in the Rainbow Fall Sword sect to cultivate." "That's great. I am also planning to go to the Rainbow Fall Sword sect. However, I think that Big Brother Ning, it would be best if you did not take out your Mirage Stone to join. With your ability, presumably you would be able to get a spot as an inner sect disciple in the Rainbow Fall Sword sect." Liang Kersen, on hearing that Ning Qing also wanted to go to the Rainbow Fall Sword sect, immediately spoke up. Ning Qing looked at Liang Kersen in doubt. How could it be so coincidental? He wanted to go to the Rainbow Fall Sword sect, and this woman also wanted to go. However, he still asked, "I have a few 3-colored Mirage Stones. I also intend to use these 3-colored Mirage Stones to open up a path. I heard that the Rainbow Fall Sword sect has a small spiritual domain. I really want to go in and cultivate for a period of time." Liang Kersen spoke in a stern tone, "Although you have already left the Mirage Gazing Island, but there will definitely be people keeping an eye on you. Do you know who owns the Mirage Gazing conglomerate? It is the force of the Mirage Gazing Island's Deputy Island Master Mi. After you join the Rainbow Fall Sword sect, they certainly would not dare to make a move against you, which is a good thing. If you take out the Mirage Stones, then there would be even more eyes staring at you. Many thanks, Junior Apprentice Sister Liang, I know what to do." Ning Qing did not care about it. What he needed now was to enhance his strength. As long as he had enough strength, then who would be able to catch up with him? Liang Kersen had only mentioned it once, but seeing that Ning Qing did not care about it, she no longer spoke about it, and just asked, "Is Big Brother Ning willing to go with me to the Rainbow Fall Sword sect to participate in the disciple selection?" "Of course I am willing. It's just that I do not know anything about the Rainbow Fall Sword sect. Can Junior Apprentice Sister Liang explain a thing or two to me?" Ning Cheng was looking for someone to go with him to the Rainbow Fall Sword sect. Now that Liang Kersen had delivered herself to his door, how could he refuse? Liang Kersen was in a very happy mood. Of course, the Rainbow Fall Sword sect is one of the Tian continent's quasi-first-class academies. Its strength is incomparably formidable. They even have several peak crucible transformation cultivators. Ning Qing suddenly interrupted Liang Kersen's words and asked, "Junior Apprentice Sister Liang, I heard that there is a realm above the crucible transformation realm. Is this true or false?" Liang Kersen showed a faint smile and spoke, "You are a rogue cultivator. It is normal for you not to know about it. of course it is true. In the Rainbow Fall Sword sect, there is an existence that surpasses the Crucible Transformation cultivators. However, really? What kind of realm is that? Ning Cheng was incomparably shocked in his heart. Crucible Transformation realm was simply an unreachable existence for him, while the Rainbow Fall Sword sect had a cultivator that surpassed the Crucible Transformation realm, but it was only a quasi-first-class academy. It is not a realm, it is because the I Ching mainland's laws are broken. Even if a Crucible Transformation cultivator cultivates to a realm that surpasses the Crucible Transformation realm, there would not be any tribulation thunder falling. Without tribulation thunder, there would not be any laws governing the realm. Without the laws governing the realm, there would not be any realm. Therefore, some of the cultivators with powerful cultivations would want to leave the I Ching mainland through the Heaven's Way, in order to find an opportunity to advance. Liang Kersen spoke in a light voice. Chapter 257. Luoling City was not close to the Rainbow Fall Sword sect. Of course, this distance was only relative to ordinary cultivators. For people with high cultivation, they could reach it in just a short while. With Ning Cheng and Liang Kersen using a medium-grade flight-type spiritual artifact, it would probably take them about half a day. After leaving Luoling City, Liang Kersen did not take out a flight-type magical weapon, rather she sat on Ning Cheng's medium-grade airship. Big Brother Ning, I am very curious as to how you managed to escape from the mirage-gazing island. That old man Peng is not simple. I heard that the people that he targeted, none of them could escape, even soul essence cultivators would be found by him. On the airship-type magical weapon, Liang Kersen asked in a very puzzled manner. Although she knew that this was Ning Cheng's secret, and that she should not ask about it, but curiosity drove her. She knew that Ning Cheng wanted to return to the Tian continent from the mirage-gazing island, and would definitely need to use the transmission array. Even if Ning Cheng had the twin heavenly cloud wings, it would still be impossible for him to fly to the Tian continent. Not to mention the distance from the mirage-gazing island to the Tian continent. Even if he had the twin heavenly cloud wings, it would still take at least a few years. Moreover, the monstrous beasts in the middle would be able to tear Ning Cheng to shreds. Even if all these were not considered, who could use the twin heavenly cloud wings non-stop for a year? The twin heavenly cloud wings, to put it bluntly, were external objects, and also required true essence and spiritual consciousness to use. Ning Cheng smiled, and was just about to speak, when suddenly a fiery red shadow flashed past his spiritual consciousness. Moreover, this shadow also had a strong spiritual chi fluctuation. Just by sweeping it with his spiritual consciousness, he could feel a trace of loosening of his spiritual consciousness. Pure Yang Fire Ginseng. It has a ginseng spirit. Liang Kersen exclaimed, and then anxiously spoke. Ning Cheng quickly chased after it. This is a pure Yang Fire Ginseng with spiritual wisdom. Its value is even higher than a mirage stone. It is simply incalculable. Liang Kersen was so excited that she even forgot about Big Brother Ning. Ning Cheng quickly drove the airship to chase after it. He also saw that it was a pure Yang Fire Ginseng. But to say that it gave birth to a ginseng spirit, it was absolutely impossible. Big Brother Ning, Kersen saw that Ning Cheng was just using the airship to chase after the pure Yang Fire Ginseng, and spoke with even more anxiously. Ning Cheng did not panic, and showed a slight smile. Junior apprentice Sister Liang, I see that you is not a simple person. How can Yang Ginseng? This was the road leading from the Luoling city to the Rainbow Fall Sword sect. How many people passed through it every day? Do you think a sentient pure Yang flame would appear here? Are you saying that this is fake? Liang Kersen muttered. That's right, how could the pure Yang Fire Ginseng appear here? Moreover, the pure Yang Fire Ginseng is a spiritual object of the heavens and earth. As such it would generally appear in the mountains, rivers, and lakes, so how could it be seen by others? That's right, Big Brother Ning, since it is fake, then why did you chase after it? Liang Kersen did not think that it was fake for the first time, because her spiritual consciousness was far inferior to Ning Cheng's, coupled with the fact that she did not have such miscellaneous knowledge like Ning Cheng. Now that Ning Cheng reminded her, she immediately understood. Ning Qing gave a smile. If the pure yang fire ginseng is fake, then it means that someone used the pure yang fire ginseng to lure us to a secluded place to kill us. Why don't I fulfill his wish? Of course, if junior apprentice Sister Liang feels unsafe, then you can wait for me at the Rainbow Fall Sword Sect. I will go alone. How could I be afraid of death? But the one intercepting us here is most likely to be that soul essence cultivator. I am afraid. Liang Kersen had already guessed that the cultivator who was trying to lure them away was most likely a soul essence cultivator. Ning Qing nodded. That's right, there is an 80 to 90% chance that it is that guy. Initially when we were at sea, I was afraid of him, and did not dare to make a move, but now that we are here, I do not have any reason not to make a move. Besides, don't I still have junior apprentice Sister Liang to help me? Ning Cheng's words were not a compliment. He felt that Liang Kersen was definitely not simple, she was definitely not an ordinary profound congealing cultivator. Big brother Ning, if it really is that cultivator, and I cannot beat him, then I might have to temporarily escape, but I would not be able to take you away. Liang Kersen hesitated for a moment, before speaking the truth. You also know that I have the twin heavenly cloud wings. As long as you can escape, then how could I not be able to escape? I only ask of you one thing, when the time comes, do your best to entangle that guy, even if it is only for a few breaths. Ning Qing spoke without any care. What if it is a soul sculpting cultivator? Liang Kersen asked in a worried voice. Ning Qing gave an affirmative reply. It is definitely not a soul sculpting cultivator, you can rest assured about it. If it was a cultivator in the soul sculpting realm, then why would they use such a method to lead them to a secluded place? He could kill the two of them with just a wave of his hand. The other party should have known that he and Liang Kersen were not people to be trifled with, and would not be able to kill them in a short time. As such, he thought of a way to lead the two of them to a secluded place. After all, the place that the two of them passed through was the main road leading to the Rainbow Fall Sword Sect. This kind of person was at most a soul essence cultivator. There was even a possibility that he was a profound core cultivator. This person is luring us over, or that pure yang fire ginseng is also fake. If it was that soul essence cultivator, how confident are you? Liang Kersen already knew that Ning Cheng's guess was correct, because her spiritual consciousness could occasionally capture the escape trajectory of the fire ginseng, which was obviously not normal. Ning Qing smiled and spoke. Since they decided to make their move, then it means that they have a certain amount of assurance. Although the pure yang fire ginseng did not develop intelligence, it was not fake. The reason why the fire ginseng could escape was because there was a talisman inside the fire ginseng. Using a talisman to show off in front of a talisman grand master like me, this kid is simply courting death. Moreover, this bastard schemed against me. I am already not happy about it. If I do not kill him, then it would be unfair to him. Are you a talisman grand master? Liang Kersen even forgot about the matter of chasing after the pure yang fire ginseng, as she looked at Ning Qing in doubt and asked. Let's talk about this later, I have to speed up. Ning Qing finished speaking. As the airship's speed rapidly increased, the shadow of the fire ginseng once again appeared in the range of the two people's spiritual consciousness. After another hour, the fire ginseng escaped into a large and extremely remote mountain range, before disappearing from sight. Let's start. Ning Qing gave a signal to Liang Kersen, as he landed the airship-type magical weapon. You have guts, knowing that I lured you over, yet still dare to come here. An indifferent voice arrived, followed by a male cultivator appearing in front of Ning Qing and Liang Kersen. It was the intermediate stage soul essence cultivator who had previously spoken on the mirage-gazing conglomerate. After this intermediate stage soul essence cultivator finished speaking, he waved his hand, and a fiery red shadow appeared in the palm of his hand, before it immediately disappeared. This fiery red shadow was the pure yang fire ginseng that Ning Qing and Liang Kersen had been chasing after. Liang Kersen gathered her true essence, and a plain-looking lamp appeared in the palm of her hand. Hey, Heaven's Mandate Neon Glow Lamp? I really did not guess wrong. Your origin is not simple at all. The intermediate stage soul essence cultivator stared at the lamp in Liang Kersen's hand and exclaimed in surprise. Liang Kursan frowned, and suddenly spoke to Ning Cheng, "Big brother Ning, this time it seems that I have implicated you. This person must have followed me here, and then found you." Ning Cheng was not surprised, as he nodded and spoke, "I guessed it, let's do it." Ning Cheng simply did not speak a second sentence, as he immediately brought out his true cosmic devil axe, while simultaneously bringing out an inexhaustible vortex of axe shadows. These vortexes were filled with a thick angry axe-killing intent, as they instantly wrapped around this intermediate stage soul essence cultivator. Devil cultivator. Once Ning Cheng made his move, Liang Kursan and the middle-aged soul essence cultivator were immediately aware of it. However, Liang Kursan did not care about it, as the heavens mandate neon cloud lantern in her hand also transformed into an endless multicolored light that rolled up. "You really are not an ordinary profound congealing cultivator, just this kind of thing, in front of me it is not enough." The middle-aged soul essence cultivator sneered, as he simultaneously brought out a black claw shadow. When this claw shadow was brought out, it was only a palm-sized shadow, but when this claw shadow and Ning Cheng's axe-killing vortex collided, it immediately transformed into innumerable ghost-faced claw shadows. "This is the explosive flame ghost claw. Ning Cheng, you better be careful." Liang Kursan's voice had just fallen, when the explosive flame ghost claw's innumerable ghost-faced faces suddenly exploded. These innumerable ghost-faced faces brought with them a terrifying yin qi that completely swallowed up Ning Cheng's angry axe-killing shadow without a trace. Even Liang Kursan's endless multicolored light was completely wiped out by this claw shadow. Liang Kursan was directly sent flying dozens of meters away, as she spat out a mouthful of blood in the air. Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness and true essence was far stronger than Liang Kursan's, as such after his axe shadow was swallowed up, he was only pushed back a few steps, before he finally stabilized himself. Bringing out the true cosmic devil axe once again, he simultaneously waved his hand, causing a 10 feet tall level 6 puppet to madly rush towards the intermediate stage soul essence cultivator. When the intermediate stage soul essence cultivator's explosive flame ghost claw landed on the puppet, it was only able to create a few holes on the puppet's body, but it was completely unable to stop the puppet. "So it turns out that you are relying on your powerful spiritual consciousness, and a soul essence puppet." The intermediate stage soul essence cultivator sneered, as the imposing aura emanating from his body skyrocketed. Liang Kursan was shocked at how Ning Cheng could have a level 6 puppet. When Ning Cheng's sound transmission arrived, "Junior apprentice Sister Liang, use your most powerful move to tie down this intermediate stage soul essence cultivator for a short period of time." Just as Ning Cheng finished speaking, the true cosmic devil axe in his hands once again brought out an innumerable angry axe vortex. These axe shadows were also mixed with a crisscrossing axe trace. Insignificant skill. Although Ning Cheng had blasted out such a powerful axe trace filled with killing intent, but in the eyes of this intermediate stage soul essence cultivator, it was nothing more than an itch. Liang Kursan, on seeing Ning Cheng's crazy actions, also knew that Ning Cheng definitely had a killing move. Whether they succeeded or failed would depend on this one move. Otherwise, she could only escape. The heavens mandate neon cloud lantern also started to move. As the dense lights flickered, it was as if there was a kind of destiny calling out to it, as it swept towards the soul essence cultivator. This soul essence cultivator was tied down by the level 6 puppet cultivator. As long as he was given a few breaths of time, he would be able to completely smash this level 6 puppet to pieces, but Ning Cheng's angry axe-killing intent made it so that he had no choice but to divert some of his attention to block it. Although these angry axe-killing intent vortexes were not a threat to him, but they were extremely annoying. But at this time, Liang Kursan's Heavens Mandate Neon Cloud Lantern completely erupted. The Heavens Mandate Neon Cloud Lantern's powerful destiny calling out to it, caused the Soul Essence Cultivator to be stunned for a moment. In just a moment, a large black net came over to envelop him. Once this large net came over, the Soul Essence Cultivator immediately felt as if his soul was locked in place. "You want to trap me with just a few magical weapons? Break for me." The Soul Essence Cultivator gave an angry roar, as the exploding flame ghost claw once again burst out with innumerable ghost-faced claw shadows. These claw shadows crazily swept out, causing Ning Cheng's angry axe's killing light to completely disappear. But that large black net unexpectedly came to a standstill in the space. Liang Kursen's inexhaustible lights also instantly dimmed. She was once again blown away. This time she spat out a few mouthfuls of blood out of thin air. In just one attack, she was seriously injured. Fortunately, her light once again blocked the ghost-faced claw shadows of the exploding flame ghost claw. Otherwise she would have died without a doubt. She was sure that she would not be able to block the third attack. I can't. Liang Kursen had just spoken out a few miserable words, when she heard Ning Qing shout out, "Explode for me." Chapter 258. A kind of extremely berserk aura instantly filled up the surrounding heaven and earth. Liang Kursen, who was thrown back a few hundred meters, also felt a kind of shock. She immediately understood what was going on. Ning Qing wanted to blow up his soul essence puppet. The value of a rank 6 soul essence puppet was very precious even for a soul essence cultivator, yet Ning Qing had suddenly exploded it. This was simply too much. Not good. The other party unexpectedly wants to blow up his soul essence puppet. This intermediate stage soul essence cultivator was the first to understand Ning Qing's thoughts, and was immediately shocked. For a profound congealing cultivator to be able to drive a soul essence puppet was already very amazing, but the opposite party was actually able to make a soul essence puppet to explode. Just how powerful was his spiritual consciousness? However, no matter what was going on, this intermediate stage soul essence cultivator did not dare to directly face the self-destruction of a soul essence puppet. Once he was caught in this kind of self-destruction, then even if he did not die, he would still have to shed a layer of skin. A protective armor automatically covered the body of this intermediate stage soul essence cultivator. At the same time, the space around him started to fluctuate, as if he wanted to escape from the range of the explosion at this moment. And at this moment, the huge black net above his head descended. This was Ning Cheng's underworld lock soul net, which he had snatched from Gue Yuhai. It was a best quality spiritual artifact. Ning Qing dared to come here and compete with this intermediate stage soul essence cultivator, not only because he had a soul essence puppet, but also because he had calculated that his underworld lock soul net would be able to trap the other party for a few breaths of time. These few breaths of time were more than enough. At least until now, his calculations had not gone awry. The soul essence cultivator was anxious to escape from the range of the explosion, causing him to neglect the underworld lock soul net. The moment he was caught by the underworld lock soul net, this soul essence cultivator felt his heart turn cold. He had unexpectedly forgotten about the underworld lock soul net suspended above his head. If it were not for that female cultivator using the Heaven's Mandate neon glow lantern to bombard him a moment ago, then even if the opposite party's axe intent maelstrom doubled in size, he would never have made such a low-level mistake. Boom! A terrifying explosion set off a huge mushroom cloud. Countless sand and soil were turned into nothingness by this explosion. Liang Kursen, who was hundreds of meters away, could only barely summon her destiny neon glow lamp to block the aftermath of the explosion. Even so, she was still blasted away by the aftermath of the explosion. In the face of this terrifying power, she couldn't even be considered as a duckweed. After Ning Qing burned his true essence and spiritual consciousness to detonate the rank 6 soul essence puppet, he immediately stimulated the twin heavenly cloud wings to rush forward, while simultaneously bringing out his profound break spear. He had already seen that this intermediate stage soul essence cultivator had not died under such a terrible explosion. Soul essence cultivators were just too terrifying. Fortunately, at this time he was seriously injured and was also trapped by the underworld lock soul net. Even if he wanted to escape, he would need a few breaths of time. Little bastard, I will grind your bones to ashes. After the explosion, the intermediate stage soul essence cultivator was the first to shout out in anger. However, at this time, he did not look like a human at all. Half of his face had been blown off, while his entire body was covered in red and black. It was simply impossible to make out his original appearance. Buzz, a violent killing intent that made the heavens and earth colorless swept over. The violent killing intent seemed to tear the space apart. It came from the distant sky, but it appeared in front of him in an instant. Bursts of chills emerged in his heart. This intermediate stage soul essence cultivator unexpectedly forgot to break free from the underworld lock soul net. He even felt a kind of terror that could explode a planet, giving him an illusion that he could not resist. This was the murderous aura of heaven and earth. He could not move. No, this was not it. This was just a spear shadow that the opposite party had used to kill him. The intermediate stage soul essence cultivator was able to get rid of the suppression in the depths of his heart in the shortest possible time. Unfortunately, by the time he reacted, he was still trapped in the underworld lock soul net. By the time he came to his senses, the black spear's shadow had already torn through all the distance and arrived in front of his glabella. Such a terrifying spear intent. The intermediate stage soul essence cultivator muttered. He had never seen this kind of spear intent before. This was definitely not a large accomplishment spear intent. This kind of spear intent was already close to being transparent, and was even able to stir up his mind. Puff! A blood arrow shot out, as Ning Cheng's profound break spear directly pierced through the glabella of this intermediate stage soul essence cultivator. Not waiting for his soul essence to dissipate, Ning Cheng's spiritual consciousness twisted. Ah! A shrill scream erupted, as everything around him returned to tranquility. At that moment, the surrounding space seemed to have turned gray, without even half a shred of vitality. All of the vitality had been completely destroyed by Ning Cheng's spear shadow. However, soon, the surroundings once again returned to their original state, as if the world was still the same. Ning Cheng staggered a bit, as the long spear in his hands trembled. Pata! A sound emerged, as the intermediate stage soul essence cultivator's body was just like a piece of garbage, as he threw it to the ground. He could already see that a crack had appeared on his profound break spear, showing that although he had a powerful move, but he did not have a powerful spear to support it. Ning Cheng took a few deep breaths as he held onto the spear's shadow, as he instantly put away his underworld lock soul net, while simultaneously putting away the soul essence cultivator's ring and his magical weapon, as he threw out a fireball, before turning around to look at Liang Kersen, junior apprentice sister Liang. Are you alright? Liang Kersen's mouth was wide open as she looked at Ning Cheng sluggishly. That terrifying spear's shadow a moment ago had almost taken away her mind. She had never thought that someone would be able to display such a terrifying spear shadow. Moreover, the one who displayed this spear shadow was a profound congealing cultivator. Even if she was very far away from this spear shadow, and even if this spear shadow was not aimed at her, but this spear shadow was filled with a terrifying killing intent, as such it still tore a few holes in the clothes covering her chest. I'm fine. After a good while, Liang Kersen replied in a trembling voice. She had thought that after she started cultivating the spiritual planting cultivation method, she was already invincible in the same realm as her. Moreover, she had also thought that although Ning Cheng was quite good, but at best he was about the same as her. Once she succeeded in cultivating the spiritual planting cultivation method, then Ning Cheng would be far inferior to her. But at this time, she finally understood, there was always a heaven beyond the heavens, and there would always be someone better than her. Not to say that they were almost the same, compared to Ning Cheng, the difference was like heaven and earth. Even if she managed to cultivate the spiritual planting cultivation method to the large success realm, in front of Ning Cheng, it was impossible for her to be invincible in the same realm. In the future, she absolutely could not afford to offend this person. Looking at his actions of snatching the ring and destroying the corpses, he did not know how many times he had done such a thing, so how could he be so skilled in such actions? It's all right, let's hurry up, I guess that there will be people coming over here soon. Ning Cheng immediately spoke, while simultaneously bringing out an airship-type magical weapon. Half an hour later, Ning Cheng and Liang Kersen were already far away from the place where the battle took place. Big Brother Ning, I did not think that you would actually be able to kill a soul essence cultivator, it really is. Even after half an hour, Liang Kersen still could not believe it. Ning Cheng gave a faint smile and spoke, I was able to kill that guy, I also had your help, moreover I also blew up a soul essence puppet. Otherwise, I certainly would not have been able to kill him. Besides, If we did not chase after him and not kill him, then what would be the point of chasing after him? Liang Kursan sighed. I knew that you had a trump card, but I still planned to escape. I did not think that your trump card would be so terrifying. That last spear almost took away my mind. That spear was really too terrifying. Ning Cheng's mind once again replayed the scene that he had seen in the everlasting Blue Thunder City. That spear was really too terrifying. Unfortunately, that spear was not his spear. His spear, when compared to that spear, was not even a billionth of it. The person who had used that spear, just how terrifying was he? If this memory belonged to an ordinary person, then perhaps they would have already lost their fighting spirit to cultivate. But Ning Cheng had the mysterious yellow bead, and was even more determined to go back to see his little sister. He not only did not lose his fighting spirit, but he also repeatedly honed the trajectory of that spear and the killing intent within his mind. Ning Cheng did not answer Liang Kursan, rather he took out a red-colored thing and handed it to Liang Kursan and said, "This pure yang fire ginseng is real, although it did not really give birth to a ginseng spirit, but it is still a rank 9 spiritual grass. You also helped me in this battle, so this pure yang fire ginseng is yours. This is too precious, I did not put in much effort, I cannot take it." Although Liang Kursan really wanted this fire ginseng, if she had this fire ginseng, then she would once again be able to cultivate to the soul essence realm, and would have a greater assurance, but she also knew that her strength was limited. Ning Cheng put the fire ginseng into Liang Kursan's hands and spoke, "Since we acted together, and you were also injured, then this fire ginseng is well deserved." "Good, then many thanks, I really do need this fire ginseng." Seeing that Ning Cheng was not hypocritical, Liang Kursan also no longer remained polite. Ning Cheng, of course, was not hypocritical. This time he had killed that intermediate stage soul essence cultivator. He had made a huge profit. After erasing the restrictions on the soul essence cultivator's ring, he found that there were more than 10 million high-grade spirit stones inside. In addition to that, there were also a variety of Yixing Ocean's monstrous beast materials, spiritual grass materials piled up like a mountain. There were even 3 8-colored mirage stones. As for the few offensive and defensive magical weapons, Ning Cheng did not even look at them. He did not know if this soul essence cultivator had handed over all the mirage stones he had obtained, or if there were only 3 of them. But for Ning Cheng, this was more than enough. "Big brother Ning, now that we have offended the Mirage Gazing Island's deputy city master me, if we cannot join the Rainbow Fall Sword sect, then we must immediately leave this place." Liang Kursan knew that Ning Cheng had gained quite a lot this time, and was also worried that the Mirage Gazing Island would come knocking on their door. "That is also true, but if you want to deal with me, then you must first ask the axe in my hands." After Ning Cheng finished this sentence, he immediately thought that his most powerful move was not the axe line, but rather his spear line that left no traces behind. This spear line was something that even he himself felt amazed by. It was truly a spear that came from beyond the heavens. Big brother Ning should not be a devil cultivator, right? Liang Kursan asked as she recalled Ning Cheng's true cosmic devil axe, which contained a terrifying and tyrannical devil chi. Ning Cheng gave an N sound and spoke, "I am not a devil cultivator, my axe was only refined from a piece of cosmic true devil metal, but because it was not refined to perfection, as such it was overflowing with devil chi." Liang Kursan hesitated for a moment, before she suddenly spoke, "I think that Big Brother Ning's most powerful move was that last spear line, but although that spear line was powerful, but that spear line was not that great. That spear line let me see a trace of the Tao charm of a spiritual technique. That spear line was because my spear intent had reached a certain level, as such it was able to erupt with my spear technique." Ning Cheng spoke in a disapproving manner. He had never heard of anything called a spiritual technique. Liang Kursan shook her head and spoke, No matter how powerful a spear technique is, it is only in the category of magical techniques. Even if it is a heaven-grade magical technique, its power is also limited. The true killing moves of a powerful cultivator are not magical techniques, but rather spiritual techniques. Spiritual techniques? Ning Cheng finally understood. It seems that there were still many things that he did not understand. Chapter 259. The Rainbow Fall Sword sect was one of the major academies of the Tian continent, although it was not a first-rate major academy, but it was still quite famous. In particular, the Rainbow Fall Sword sect's small spiritual domain was very famous throughout the entire Tian continent. Some of the great clans would even send their talented disciples to the Rainbow Fall Sword sect. It was because the reputation of the small spiritual domain was simply too great. The Rainbow Fall Sword sect had innumerable mountain peaks, with the main peak located in the depths of the sect. Moreover, there were also the immortal caves of the Grand Elders, the core disciples, the true inheriting disciples, and the various peak masters. Inner sect disciples also had their own cave abodes. However, the cave abodes of inner sect disciples were located in the outer region. Many inner sect disciples shared a common mountain peak. As for the outer sect disciples, they could only stay at the outermost perimeter. However, the most bustling place in the Rainbow Fall Sword sect was the outermost area. This place was not only frequented by the cultivators from the Rainbow Fall Sword sect, but even some of the surrounding families and small academies were willing to come here to trade. After a long time, this place had become a huge market, or even a city. The liveliness of the marketplace was not inferior to that of Luoling City. However, the largest place in the Rainbow Fall Sword sect was actually the Rainbow Fall Sword stone. That's right, it was a piece of stone. However, this stone was even bigger than those large squares. All the duels and competitions of the Rainbow Fall Sword sect, the gathering of the entire sect's cultivators, and the series of disciple recruitment activities, were all held on this piece of stone. Therefore, although this stone was called the Rainbow Fall Sword Stone, it was also the public square of the Rainbow Fall Sword sect. Is there such a big stone? Ning Cheng, who had already arrived at the periphery of the Rainbow Fall Sword sect, on hearing Liang Kursen's explanation, couldn't help but ask in doubt. That's right, so this time the Rainbow Fall Sword sect's disciple selection will definitely be carried out on the Rainbow Fall Sword Stone. Liang Kursen replied. She and Ning Cheng had talked all the way here, and had thoroughly believed that Ning Cheng was a person who came from a grassroots background. There were a lot of basic things that he didn't understand. He only knew about them after listening to her explanation. So, the Rainbow Fall Sword Stone should be the symbol of the Rainbow Fall Sword sect. Ning Cheng said. In his opinion, since the Rainbow Fall Sword sect had such a huge Rainbow Fall Sword stone, then the symbol of the sect would definitely be this stone. Liang Kursen directly denied it. No, the real symbol of the Rainbow Fall Sword sect is not this stone, but the Rainbow Fall Sword peak. On the summit of the Rainbow Fall Sword peak, there was a long sword inserted into the ground. This sword was called the Yonder Immortal Rainbow Fall Sword, and he heard that this sword was the true treasure of the Rainbow Fall Sword sect. This sword suppresses the destiny of the Rainbow Fall Sword sect, as such no one can move it. At the periphery of the Rainbow Fall Sword sect's incomparably huge makeshift market, the Rainbow Fall Sword sect's External Affairs Disciple Deacon's building was filled with a sea of people. Ning Cheng and Liang Kursen came here, but even after squeezing for a long time, they still could not squeeze in. Junior apprentice Sister Liang, if it goes on like this, then 3 days later when the disciple selection begins, we would not even be able to register our names. We must think of a way. Ning Cheng pulled out Liang Kursen. Liang Kursen also said helplessly, if we squeeze here for 3 days, we should be able to register. Ning Cheng shook his head. Others can, but we can't. Don't forget what we've done. We can't stay here for too long. Wait, I see someone I know. Ning Cheng spoke as he quickened his pace to catch up with a young girl wearing a light blue robe. Senior apprentice Sister Hanrui, what a coincidence, to unexpectedly meet you here. The woman in the blue dress was stunned for a moment, but she immediately reacted. Not waiting for her to answer Ning Cheng's words, a young man standing beside her took the initiative to ask, Junior apprentice Sister Hanrui, who is this? Why haven't I seen it before? The woman in the blue dress gave a smile and spoke, he is a friend of Fu Xiaomei, we met in the Fu Ling villa. Saying that, she turned to Ning Cheng and asked, why are you here? Aren't you together with senior apprentice brother Xiaomei? Right, I still don't know your name. So it's that sissy. The young man's mouth showed a trace of disdain, as he spoke in a light voice. Junior apprentice Sister Hanrui was really too easy to talk to, she did not even know the other party's name, it was obvious that they had only met once before. Ning Qing glanced at this young man, with the cultivation of soul essence 5th level, no wonder he was so arrogant. At the same time, he could also see that these big academies were really something, casually coming out of them were all soul essence cultivators, how could rogue cultivators and small academies mix around? Oh, I'm called Ning Cheng, I came here to participate in the Rainbow Fall Sword Sex Disciple Selection. This is my friend Liang Kursen, she is also here to participate in the Rainbow Fall Sword Sex Disciple Selection, maybe we will soon become fellow disciples. Ning Qing replied, he simply did not pay any attention to the young man next to him, not to mention taking the initiative to greet him. Hello, I'm called Sun Hanrui, a disciple of the Rainbow Fall Sword Sect, welcome. Sun Hanrui politely greeted Liang Kursen. Although she did not know much about Ning Cheng, but she was very clear about what kind of person Ning Cheng was. Don't look at the other party having the cultivation of profound congealing realm, even if it was Fu Xingnan, she would still dare to close the door and shout, fuck off. Hearing that Ning Cheng and Liang Kursen were here to participate in the Academy's disciple selection, the young man suddenly gave a smile and spoke, you made friends with that sissy little sister, didn't you also want the other party to help you? How come you still want to participate in the disciple selection now? Ning Cheng raised an eyebrow, he did not even know this young man, so why was he still chattering here? Sun Hanrui was also aware of Ning Cheng's temperament, as such she quickly stopped the young man's words, and spoke in front of him, is there anything elder brother Ning needs my help with? She knew that for Ning Cheng to stop her, it was definitely not for something as simple as a greeting, there was definitely something that he needed her help with, as such he stopped her. This Sun Hanrui was really too considerate, knowing that he was looking for her for something, Ning Cheng quickly cupped his fists and spoke in a blunt manner, me and junior apprentice Sister Liang came a bit late, as such it is difficult for us to register, so, I know, of course there is no problem. Sun Hanrui finished, and then spoke to the male cultivator next to her, senior apprentice brother Wen, I have something to take care of, you can go ahead first, I'll be back in a moment. The young man frowned, and then spoke to her, Junior apprentice Sister Hanrui, these two profound congealing cultivators are just here to register, just let them take my identity card, why do you need to personally make a trip? Saying that, the young man took out a very exquisite jade card and spoke, take my jade card to register, after the registration, let the deacon deliver it to my immortal cave. Seeing that Sun Hanrui did not seem to be perfunctory with Ning Cheng, the young man did not continue to speak any harsh words, but instead took out his own jade card. Ning Cheng did not even look at the jade card, if Sun Hanrui was not willing to help him, then so be it. Sun Hanrui obviously knew about Ning Cheng's temperament, and quickly spoke up, Xingnan is my friend, and elder brother Ning is a friend of Xingnan's elder brother Xiaomei, I should be able to help you with this, I'll just go by myself. Many thanks senior apprentice brother Wen. Saying that, Sun Hanrui gave a sweet smile to the young man, and took the initiative to lead Ning Cheng and Liang Kursen into the overcrowded Foreign Affairs Disciple Deacon's building. Senior apprentice brother Wen's complexion was somewhat ugly to look at, but fortunately he did not know that Ning Cheng and Fu Xingnan had almost fought, if he knew about it, then he would not know what kind of expression he would have. Sure enough, it was easy to get things done. Sun Hanrui's face was obviously not low, as such she simply did not need to line up, and directly entered a room on the top floor. As soon as she entered, an idle deacon inside took the initiative to stand up and greet her with a bow. In just a few minutes, Ning Cheng and Liang Kursen received a number card to participate in the competition, and received a copy of the rules of the disciple selection. This time the Rainbow Fall Sword Sex Disciple Selection was divided into two major categories. The first category was the Spiritual Root Qualification Selection, which did not look at one's cultivation. As long as one was under the age of 30, and had a better spiritual root, then one would have a higher chance of becoming an inner sect disciple of the Rainbow Fall Sword Sect, or even becoming a core disciple or a true inheriting disciple. The second category was for those with poor spiritual root qualifications, but possessed formidable strength. This kind of disciple must participate in the competition. However, they must also have the cultivation of profound core realm or below, and be under the age of 50. This kind of cultivator, after joining the Rainbow Fall Sword sect, would receive a slightly worse treatment compared to the first category of cultivators, as they were mainly used to train some cannon fodder for the Rainbow Fall Sword sect, as well as some of the people in charge of the industry. At the same time, even if they were eliminated from the first category, they could still participate in the second category. Ning Cheng and Liang Kersen both applied for the second category. Ning Cheng was well aware that his spiritual root was not good, moreover his spiritual root could change at any time. As for the second category of inner sect disciple, there was no need to test one's spiritual root, which was the best for Ning Cheng. Many thanks for Senior Apprentice Sister Sun's help, although my ability is low, but if Senior Apprentice Sister Sun needs my help in the future, I will definitely not refuse. Following Sun Hanrui out of the registration building, Ning Cheng spoke out in a very grateful manner. Sun Hanrui obviously did not take Ning Cheng's words to heart, she just gave a faint smile and spoke, "Thank you elder brother Ning, I still have something to do, so I will take my leave first. I live in the auspicious Cloud Peak, if elder brother Ning has any matter, you can always come to find me." Ning Cheng would not go out to look for Sun Hanrui, in case he met Fu Xingnan, then perhaps it might even lead to a fight. This senior apprentice Sister Sun is a good person, she definitely is a core disciple of the Rainbow Fall Sword sect. I really did not think that you would know a core disciple. After Sun Hanrui left, Liang Kersen spoke with a sigh. Since she had seen Ning Cheng's ability, she did not think that Ning Cheng was not worthy of becoming friends with Sun Hanrui. With Ning Cheng's ability, becoming friends with Sun Hanrui was not a rare thing. Ning Cheng declined to comment, he had asked Sun Hanrui for help because he really had no other choice, otherwise he and Sun Hanrui had only met once, plus his relationship with Fu Xingnan was still very stiff, it was simply impossible for him to take the initiative to ask for help from others. Let's go find a place to rest for 2 days, for these 2 days we will try not to show our faces. Liang Kersen also knew that at this time, it was not appropriate for them to stay outside. Wait. Ning Cheng suddenly stared at a huge poster not far away, as his complexion changed indeterminately. What's the matter? Liang Kersen quickly asked. Ning Cheng pointed to the huge poster and spoke, tonight the Rainbow Fall Sword Sect's makeshift market is going to hold an auction, there are things that I want inside. While speaking those words, Ning Cheng's heart unexpectedly started to palpitate, as he looked at the poster with the jade strip that contained the possible locations for the geocentric 9-ene essence to appear. Although it was not a direct sale of the geocentric 9-ene essence, but the words geocentric 9-ene essence made him somewhat unable to bear it. This was one of the 2 spiritual grasses related to whether he could return to Earth or not. Chapter 260. The scale of tonight's auction is not small, so there should be some people with high cultivation. If the things you want to buy are ordinary, then it would be fine, but if it is something precious, then I am afraid that it would not work. After the 2 of them found a rest stop, Liang Kersen spoke to Ning Cheng with some concern. Ning Cheng rubbed his forehead and spoke, "Oh, I know, but this thing is too important to me. I'm going to change my appearance." Ning Cheng was also very clear in his heart, even if he changed his appearance, at most he would only be able to make a few soul essence cultivators unable to see through him. Once he met a cultivator in the soul sculpting realm or above, then his appearance changing would not be of much use. Although Lan Shu had given him a mask, but this mask's grade was not very high. Liang Kersen showed a faint smile, as she took out a pill and handed it to Ning Cheng and spoke, "This is a form-changing pill, not only can it temporarily change your appearance, but it can also change your aura. After you take the form-changing pill, and then change your appearance, even a crucible transformation cultivator would not necessarily be able to recognize you." Ning Cheng felt happy in his heart, as he quickly took the pill, and immediately spoke out in shock, "Level 7 pill? This thing is too precious. Ning Cheng was a grand master of alchemy, as such he was not able to refine rank 5 pills, not to mention rank 7 pills. Since we're friends, of course we should help each other. I found a ruin, and this pill was obtained from that ruin. Besides, you're even willing to give me a level 9 pure yang fire ginseng. What does a level 7 medicinal pill count for? However, the effect of this pill can only last for up to 24 hours. After this time, the medicinal effect will automatically disappear. Liang Kersen replied in a serious tone. Good, then many thanks junior apprentice Sister Liang. Ning Cheng put away the pill. He knew that this thing would be useful to him. The Heavenly Stars auction house was one of the 3 major auctions in the peripheral makeshift market of the Rainbow Fall Sword sect, as such large-scale auctions were held quite frequently. At the auction reception area, there were all kinds of things being sent to be auctioned every day. Of course, the value of the items that could be auctioned at the Heavenly Stars auction house couldn't be too low. If it was too low, it wouldn't be qualified to come to this place. At the Heavenly Stars auction house, not only would there be detailed records, but there would also be a crystal ball given to the seller. If there was any unilateral breach of contract, the seller could copy the crystal ball and send it out at any time. Therefore, the reputation of the 3 major auctions on the periphery of the Rainbow Fall Sword sect had always been very good. Coupled with the large number of cultivators coming and going from the Rainbow Fall makeshift market, these 3 major auctions also grew bigger and bigger. Even in some of the other cities, they also had branches. Today's auction was not considered a big one for Heavenly Stars auction house. At best, it was only an above-average auction. Heavenly Stars auction house would hold this kind of auction once or twice a month. I have something to put up for auction, and would like to put it up for auction tonight. Ning Cheng walked into the reception of the auction house, and spoke out in a very direct manner. At this time, he had already changed his appearance to that of a middle-aged man with a black face, and had also taken an appearance-changing pill. A Soul Essence 2nd level cultivator saw that Ning Cheng only had the cultivation of profound congealing 3rd level, and did not move, but frowned and spoke. Tonight's auction will start in an hour, as such you can only place your item in the auction at the end of the month. Ning Cheng did not refute, and just took out 2 jade bottles and placed them on the table and spoke. These are 2 bottles of spiritual enhancement true nectar. If Heavenly Stars auction house is willing to put it up for auction tonight, then I will put it up for auction here. If they do not agree, then I will change to another auction house. After saying those words, the imposing aura around Ning Cheng's body instantly rose up, as a powerful spiritual consciousness fluctuated out, causing this Soul Essence 2nd level cultivator to feel shocked in his heart. This person was definitely not a profound congealing cultivator, he was at least a Soul Essence cultivator, and the opposite party had concealed his cultivation. However, what shocked him the most was not that Ning Cheng had concealed his cultivation, but rather the things that Ning Cheng had taken out for auction. Even if Ning Cheng was a crucible transformation cultivator, he would not be able to act arrogantly in the Heavenly Stars auction house. But if Ning Cheng really took out the spiritual enhancement true nectar, then it would definitely be a good thing. Just based on the rarity of the spiritual enhancement true nectar, it was more than enough to make Heavenly Stars auction house agree to Ning Cheng's request. Spiritual enhancement true nectar. The Soul Essence cultivator quickly grabbed one of the jade bottles, and after opening it with his spiritual consciousness, he once again spoke up. It really is the spiritual enhancement true nectar. If you can't make the decision, then you can ask someone else. I will wait here. Ning Cheng spoke in a flat tone. Ning Cheng originally wanted to take out the exotic desolate extreme essence to sell, but considering that he might need to refine a long spear in the future, this thing was a very precious material. Moreover, he had a lot of spiritual enhancement true nectar, so it would not be a problem for him to sell a dozen barrels. I can make the decision. The Soul Essence cultivator put down the jade bottle in his hands, and spoke to Ning Cheng in an extremely serious tone. These 2 bottles of spiritual enhancement true nectar are very valuable, moreover the quantity is also not small. However, our auction house will take a 15% commission. Okay. But I also have a condition. I want to participate in tonight's auction, and will need a private box. Ning Qing immediately agreed. For him, this was equivalent to collecting taxes. Of course, there is no problem. The soul essence cultivator, on seeing Ning Qing, was very straightforward, also spoke in a polite tone. Saying that, he took out an entry jade card and handed it to Ning Qing. Your room is number 178, you can enter the room with this entry jade card. After Ning Qing received the jade card and thanked him, he thought for a moment before asking, "Excuse me, how much can a bottle of spiritual enhancement true nectar be sold for?" The soul essence cultivator pondered for a moment before speaking. In our auction house, a bottle of spiritual enhancement true nectar can be sold for at least 800,000 to 1 million spirit stones. So little. Ning Qing repeated the sentence in surprise. He currently had 13 million spirit stones on him. The reason why he took out the spiritual enhancement true nectar for the auction was to gather enough spirit stones to purchase the whereabouts of the geocentric 9 essence. He did not expect that the two bottles would only be sold for around 2 million spirit stones. This was really beyond his expectations. The soul essence cultivator at the reception gave a smile and spoke. Actually, this price is not a small one, considering the value of the things being auctioned tonight. These two bottles of spiritual enhancement true nectar are not very high. However, the spiritual enhancement true nectar is very rare. I heard that it is only available in the Lu continent's Law's Way. Therefore, if this kind of thing is auctioned, it would definitely be of some benefit to our auction house. Of course, if there are several cultivators who need this kind of thing at the same time, then the price would rise sharply. It would not be surprising for it to be sold for a few million spirit stones. Ning Qing was surprised in his heart. He had originally wanted to take out some other things for auction, but after hearing the words of this soul essence cultivator, he immediately dispelled the idea. Not to mention that the spiritual enhancement true nectar that he had taken out was already very eye-catching, but the other party had already said that it was from the Lu continent's Law's Way. If he took out other good things, then he would definitely be listed as a key target. Besides, he did not have many good things. Compared to some of the powerful cultivators, he only had 3 or 4 good things. Understanding this point, Ning Qing immediately said his goodbyes and left. Ning Qing entered the Heavenly Stars auction house, and found the number 178, only then did he come to know that his room was the worst among the boxes. Ning Qing did not care about it. After all, the value of the spiritual enhancement true nectar was not as high as he had imagined. For someone to take out a box for him was already very good. The Tian continent's heaven and earth laws were more complete than the Lu continent's, as such it was normal for the value of the spiritual enhancement true nectar to be lower. Besides, the number of soul essence cultivators in the Lu continent was not comparable to the number of soul essence cultivators in the Tian continent, as such the spiritual enhancement true nectar was obviously much more useful to the lower-leveled cultivators. But it was not something that a random profound core cultivator could easily come up with 1 million spirit stones. After Ning Qing entered the box, he very carefully placed a few array formation restrictions on the box. The auction had not yet started, as such Ning Qing could only sit in the box and wait. After the time it took for an incense stick to burn, the cultivators participating in the auction had already entered the auction house, but Ning Qing saw that Sun Hanrui had also entered the auction house. Together with her was the Soul Essence 5th level cultivator who had ridiculed Fu Xiaomei for being a sissy. Looking at the expressions of the two people, Ning Qing knew that they definitely wanted to buy something more important. After the time it took for half an incense stick to burn, a pretty-looking female cultivator walked onto the auction stage. She first cupped her fists towards the people around her, before she spoke. "Thank you everyone for participating in the Heavenly Stars auction. This auction is just like the past, and will certainly not disappoint the participants. Moreover, there is also a small surprise for tonight's auction. There is a thing that rarely appeared before, but will also appear tonight." Good, let's not talk about the small talk, let's start with the first thing. As this pretty-looking female cultivator finished, she suddenly raised her hand, and a thing the size of a longan fruit appeared in her hand. You're tuning in to the Blissful Bookshelf YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.